Help support the Truth Cartel. Support in the moment. Super Chats. Support monthly through Patreon. Support with music. Support with merch. Click the links in the description.
One day Jesus coming back real soon. Take a look what my Jesus been through. He died for mankind, although we been cruel. Got a chance to repent, won't let it slip through. I got a dog out for Jesus like I'm his sister. When we preaching the gospel, we preach the truth. Trying to give it to an atheist, a Muslim, or a Jew, yeah. Gotta give the Lord's word and give it right, cause he's coming back one day like a thief in the night. Be ready, so hold on to God and keep your faith steady.
Yeah, I'm out of this doom, I made another one. I call this one an EOX's. Red rose, white ceiling. These EOs out here just keep sinning. Packed up and left, we ain't kidding. All of it dedicated to hurt feelings. Drama brewed up like a toddler's tantrum. You down with the TC, now I can't stand them. When it came to doctrine or prize traditions, didn't matter what we believe. We ain't Christians, so y'all poppin' just to yawn and say I just woke up. Yeah, we saw that all day, that woke line spent. Don't worry about it though, you may have time to repent, and even more time to grow. Yeah. Don't wanna talk doctrine, I just woke up. We can pray but you ain't saved, man. I just woke up. You can't even talk to Marla. I just woke up. Wait, did you just call me modalist? I just woke up. You can't ban me because I quit. You can't ban me because I quit. You ain't EO, you ain't EO, you ain't EO. I quit. I quit. Red rose faded, white ceiling caving. These boys claiming enlightenment with no priest in sight. It's just a lack of permission because their tradition ain't right. Bro, just whine in silence cause that's all you can do. When you cross the TC, you end up crossing the whole crew. Tradition states that we can't pray together or sing one song. Can't even say amens if the vibe feels wrong.
Hey, yo, Muller, this Doma made another one. Red rose, white ceiling. I ain't gonna like this. Yeah. They call it a corner meal. Everybody mad. Yeah. I said a corner meal. Everybody mad. Yeah. Same old yo from the block. They say they in the heart, but they not. They saying I'm a circle just to die. Everybody hated on him, then he came back with a problem. I done spent a whole lot of time with the fathers. Doubling my prayers cause my church ain't making sense. I've been in my parents playing with the incense. When they all fell off the boat, yeah, I'm talking about the fence.
Hit them likes.
A whole lot of folks I was hating. I know it's a whole lot of comforts I was faking. So I shut them folks up, icons feeling us. Always knew that I was gifted, so I had to stay patient. Taking over land, brother, tell me what's the bid. I heard you still so low, tell me what it is. You ain't keep the fast, buying no books, reading no saints, they ain't let a brother live. All I see is vision lights, candles, hunters. If it ain't full theosis, bump the vibe, I don't want it. About to make these folks sick. They call it a corner meal. Everybody mad. I said a corner meal. Everybody mad.
Mic check 1 2 1 2, which ain't hard to do. Can you hear
Say
me?
they in the heart, but they not. They say they in my circle just to die. Everybody laid on him, then he came back with a problem. She was rapping squad, now she wanna give it up. Fast life JC, I'ma live it up. Now my ex-girl
That's
trying to make me
the
jealous, saying that I'm moving worse. She don't know she out the church. I got me,
Alright,
but
y'all.
I'm still in the name.
Bruh, you have no idea what we stumbled upon. An exposing's gonna happen tonight. All glory to the Lord. Let the Holy Spirit move.
Please don't ever bend the line. And it's super extra when the force is off the line. All I know is grease, fly, A-Rap. Deal from the guy, can't better pay the tab. Muller call me back. Let tradition feel like sad. Corner meal. Everybody mad.
Look who we be live. Look at this. You see that? That's because I got ice in my cup because it's officially summertime in sunny California because I'm broadcasting from the west side. If you don't know, now you know. But it is hot today. The first day of summer, even though it ain't summer. And trust me, I needed a little ice in the mug. If you guys ask where can you get this mug or where can you support, click in the descriptions of the video. You can give one time. You can check out the music, check out Kai's new album, get involved. But the easiest way to do that, know everything, is join the Discord that's scrolling at the top of your screen. All right? And with that, I want to welcome you to this, the Cartel of Truth. And I am your host, the Mauler, the unapologetic apologist, the unequivocating evangelist, the poignant pundit, the uncancelable conservative. And why can't I be canceled? Well, because in the end, that would make you a racist bigot to cancel me because I'm just a dumb Mexican. So if you disagree with anything that I say, you can always speak to me. You can get a hold of me easily in the Discord and on some of these lives. Just pull up, or if you really want to give me a piece in your mind, just have a conversation like grown folk do. Remember, you can cuss me out, you can call me whatever you want, and unless, I'm feeling in a certain mood, I'm not going to get rid of you. But if you're lying and you're playing games and you're not being honest, I'd probably ban you quicker for that than anything. So now that you've got sort of the parameters and the rules, then understand tonight's agenda. Tonight's agenda is to expose a secret agenda. Oh yeah, if you're a Catholic or an evangelical, especially if you're an evangelical, Reformed, I don't care, Protestant, you might be just what the EOs need, a useful idiot. Tonight, Andrew Wilson is going to tell you the whole game plan himself, and I'm going to give you some background to how I knew this was going to happen and how the drop that I dropped a few days ago, that was just simply a comment in my small little itsy bitsy 1,300 person Discord, how it became a tweet. And you should ask yourself, why would they care about what I'm saying? And I'm still trying to figure that out, unless what I'm saying might be true. So tonight you're going to get that, the truth of what I know, the facts, where they lie, and we can dive in and examine them together. What do you say? All right, chat. So check this out. I want to start by telling you that I have never in my wildest dreams would have guessed that what was going to transpire when we began this. Remember, I told you how me and JP weren't speaking in the past. And then ironically tonight, Kelly Powers is a guy that brought us together after I had a conversation about Once Saved, Always Saved on my channel with Kelly Powers. And then that prompted JP to kind of say my name. And then we had a conversation, and then that produced us working together again. That's the brief history. But when I started, he said, what do you want to get into? And I said, well, if we're going to do some co-op streaming and we want to come back or bounce back on YouTube, I think we need to talk about this ortho bro culture and how they seem to be taking over the internet and are bullying people. Now, I don't use the word bully lightly. I simply use it as, kind of the message of our day. These guys don't bully me. As you can see, they don't scare me. I don't run from it. I'm not, oh my goodness, losing sleep. I'm simply saying is they thought they had a lock on the internet. Tell me if I'm lying, chat, right now. Tell me if not in the last 6 months or the last year and a half, it seems to be that Orthodox were just punking mainly Protestants and dunking on them left and right. That was happening. And what's happened in the last 5 or 6 months since the beginning of the year is that other people were brought in and kind of dropped out. So let me lay the landscape as of today. We started and something ironic happened because me and JP, we come back together again. Let's do the YouTube thing again. All right, cool. And then somewhere, Ruslan gets caught by apparently putting somebody up who was not an apologist for Eastern Orthodoxy on one of his events. Now, at that point in time, I wasn't an enemy of Ruslan. He didn't hate me. We just saw differently. But then we come back together because he says, hey, there's no real reason for us to be bickering, even if we might disagree on some things. So we come back together, but only because he's being called out by the same group. They call him out. They say he's a grifter. They say he's this, that, and the other. Jay Dyer goes off and says everybody who's not an EO apologist is a grifter. Now, I'm going to say this right now. That was the mistake that he made. JP's pointed this out, and I know you guys were paying attention. You found out what is wrong with this guy. How could he go from, hey, I used to do co-op ministry with these guys. Remember, Jay Dyer was hanging out, going on Ruslan's show, doing stuff with God Logic in a way, hanging out with even, the outsiders of this, like Sam Shamoon, doing co-op debates. And then now he says they're all going to hell and they're fakers. How did we get here, chat? Well, that is exposing their real attitude. The attitude is, listen, you are an audience. And if we can get you to agree and watch us on certain terms, perfect, because you are an unlimited audience. If I can get evangelicals to believe and trust what I'm saying and even jump on board with a couple of political points, boom, the power of the message can happen and get things like what? Donald J. Trump elected. That's the kind of power evangelicals have. So much powerful that the powers that be will infiltrate in the church and pitch us these wild political doctrines, right? These international doctrines of certain countries who can do whatever they want, and we sign up for it because there's some passage in Isaiah or Ezekiel that says it. You know what I'm talking about, but, we can't say it. All right? So, we fast forward. He alienates everybody, makes a mistake. Then, for whatever reason, he says, hey, come debate me, bro. Remember? He sends me a message I didn't even know on X, debate me. So what he's thinking is what everybody else is going to do. That they're going to run. I'm going to run. JP's going to shut up. We're not going to say anything because we're going to get scared. And that doesn't happen. In fact, we don't get scared. We say, let's just have a conversation. We push through us going back and forth. Lo and behold, Andrew Wilson gets involved. Remember, Andrew Wilson doesn't know anything about theology, doesn't know anything about Christianity in many senses, okay? I'm not saying that I'm judging his salvation. That's up to him and the Lord. But obviously, I knew this, and I'm trying to get him to have a conversation as a normal one-for-one combo that I've been having for years. No problem, but all of a sudden, it seems to be a problem. Why? Because it's not coordinated, it's not fixed, it's not structured to where they can do what they normally do, which is try to attack the doctrines, the internal critique, and then get away with a bunch of gotchas, a bunch of poor attitude, these backhands that they give you in their questioning. Now, what you're going to hear tonight is a conversation where Andrew Wilson steps in and says, hey, I'm new to this. I want real honest dialogue to happen. And then what we're all doing is we're like, oh, really? Andrew Wilson really wants to have a real conversation? Well, a real conversation would seek truth. Now, I'm going to ask you guys a question, chat, and let's see if you can answer honestly. Removing all emotions. Do Eastern Orthodox know what we believe? In general, do they know what Protestants, even from somebody like me, who would be more of an evangelical, Pentecostal, to a person who's Reformed, who believes maybe in the 5 points of Calvinism, do they know what we believe, chat? It's a yes or no. Do they know what we believe? Simple yes or no. Simple yes or no will do. Do they know what we believe, chat? If any of you guys are going, I don't think they know. Come on, man. Come on. They know exactly what we believe. Don't say that. They know exactly what we believe. Yes, they do. They've been studying it for years, which is why you Protestants are getting dunked on by them for the last couple years, because they know what you believe. You don't get to dunk on people unless you know what they believe. This is a fact. This is why I'm trying to figure out what your worldview is. I'm trying to figure out what you know. And if I don't know, and in the process, I can then develop and show another audience that, hey, this is what they believe, then I can position myself to be able to interrogate you the internal critique or the new Mueller rules. And what we're going to find out is Andrew Wilson got big. Let me just tell you, he got into this conversation. So what you're about to hear is the audio of him joining JP's live, where he lays out the whole agenda. Now, background. What transpired then, since my conversation with Andrew Wilson, he's had a conversation with Kelly Powers, which went horribly. I hope they can have a better conversation tonight. I'm not holding my breath. But anyways, the point is, since my conversation with him that didn't go his way, right? He wasn't able to ground his political views because he didn't know his faith. So that was embarrassing. So he doesn't post it. And then he becomes a person who doesn't want to, engage with me directly. And I don't really need to engage with him directly anymore. I think the point was proven. Guess what? The next day after the disastrous debate by Kelly Powers with them, guess what he does? I'm retiring. I'm retiring from any theology. I'm retiring from any conversations about theology, everybody. Remember that? And then 3 or 4 days later, here comes Jay Dyer. And what does Jay Dyer come out with and say just a few days later? I'm retiring. Oh, no more debates. I'm going to go do Ruslan Jr. I'm going to go do what Ruslan does and have interviews and pursue other ideas. Hey, God bless him. Now, chat, you have to ask yourself, does one thing have anything to do with the other? Yes or no? This is your opinion. Just give me your opinion. Do all of these moves, one has anything to do with the other? Boy, this is yummy ice, chap. Oh, look. Yes. Yes, definitely smoked out. And Marlboro Ministries. Yes. It's a fantastic question. Somebody told me that today. They said, that's interesting. Well, I'm not going to tell you that I came up with it. Yes. Yup. Okay. So you guys think one thing has to do with the other. Does it sound like these guys are moving like a unit? No coincidence. Does it sound like it? Oh no, Chad. Do we have collusion? Do we have a bigger agenda? Do we have something happening that you and I can go, I don't think I was born yesterday. Maybe I was born the day before, but not yesterday. Something don't smell right. Well, so I'm sitting there minding my own, and probably close to midnight, I can remember it was pretty late. I come to the conclusion that we have rats among us. And when I mean rats, I mean liars that are sitting in the Discord community. So, Jay Dyer retires, Andrew Wilson wants the great reset, and you're going to love this, how he pitches it to JP. You guys are going to love this audio, man. Get ready and take some notes, because I like to do is open it up and figure out where it is your minds are at if we have an opportunity. But chat, check this out. So I go, let me think about this. Somebody's waving the white flag, and they're waving the white flag because Wilson decided to jump on to JP's live. So then I said, in light of this is all crazy. He's extending an olive branch and says, hey, why don't we just calm down with the discourse? We're going to get to audio in a second. And then I said, well, this doesn't match up. We got people retiring left and right. We got him saying, let's chill out, everybody. So apparently they've lost the war. And why? Because the pushback was so big. But then I go, hold on. Why are we getting more rats in my server? And why am I being told by people that are in their server the very, very secretive things that are happening? And then I have people from their circle telling me, don't fall for it. Then the question was asked, Mahler, do you believe one thing has nothing to do with the other? Okay. So you're basically saying that it's not over? They're like, no, not by a long shot. And I said, all right, I'm going to test your theory. If I drop a message on my Discord, not on X, just on my Discord, and I get a rat to pop out the other side, I smoke him out, then I will believe you. And look at what we have here, chat. Look at this little old disclosure here. I dropped this after I heard Andrew Wilson talking to JP, which we're going to get to in a minute. The EO war has been won. Andrew Wilson is on JP's X Spaces trying to pander and extend an olive branch because they lost support and can't handle evangelicals no longer wanting to support AW and Jay Dyer. They took a big hit in support and are now wanting peace. Remember, I told you we started it and we are going to finish it. This is now all making sense that these EOs need evangelicals to claim victory in the political arena. Now Andrew wants to be friendly, but we know his playbook. It's all about power and money for them. For us, it's all about truth. Keep praying, TC, at everyone. Then Andrew says, charitable. Being charitable to you guys is a bad idea. Wow. This is crazy. So now I speak for everybody? Who's you guys? You know, as they say, what you mean, you people? You feel what I'm saying, chat? Well, it gets better. Because the you guys just got dropped. Check this out. So if you have noticed, where's Ruslan? Just ask yourself, where is Ruslan after all this news drop? Now, I'm not knocking Ruslan. Ruslan is doing his thing. I spoke to him and I told him about the very thing I'm about to tell you. He's good to go. The Lord is going to bless him. He continues doing the work of the Lord, how he's led creatively. Let him do his thing. But I don't see Ruslan, chat. Do you see Ruslan anywhere? Wait a minute. Do you remember one David Wood? Do you see David Wood anywhere? Where did David Wood go? Chat, do you see him? I don't see David Wood. Not knocking him. Because once Jay Dyer retires, the whole reason that these gentlemen got involved disappears. Just like that. Are you starting to figure this out? Are you starting to figure this out? That they said the guy who started this whole thing by calling everybody grifters and basically cutting out 80% of our support indirectly was evangelicals and even Catholics, and he alienated them by doing this. He said, I retire, and therefore, Ruslan, David Wood, they're gone. And what? Little old me and JP remain? You figured they would ignore us. But this tweet says otherwise. Rachel Wilson retweets and says, this is what Andrew got for trying to be reasonable with these people. Unbelievable. Well, that's rich. That is rich to tell us you were being reasonable. And if you're going to speak, if I'm going to speak for the whole group, then I would like to know who was reasonable with me. Who was reasonable with me? Remember, we were told that JP wasn't going to show up to that debate, which by the way, I'll be doing a review on that debate soon, God willing, hopefully, Lord willing, maybe on Saturday. So then what's happening here? I want to put this in the proper context for you. What has changed is they did an about face. And as JP said on that very audio, he says they waved the white flag. They said, forget it. Right? And let's build some unity. So if it is the truth that they've built some unity, that they've actually come together to put us together on the same sort of page and say, let's stop all of this, which appears that that's what Andrew Wilson's trying to do, I got some questions. And it's not necessarily for Andrew. I have questions for you guys. You have to start to answer these tough questions. That even if as Christians we can agree on point A, let's say abortion, right? We're against it. Let's talk about the overrunning of our children, LG rights, all of these things that are tied to the liberal agenda, the secularist agenda, whatever you want to call it, okay? And that we go, well, yeah, but that person kind of helps in that arena. So shouldn't we support them? Yes, but all of you seem to have had this little pit in your stomach. And that pit in your stomach tells you, yeah, but what kind of a representation and at what cost Are we going to be supporting people who obviously agree with us? Maybe politically there's overlap. And they found this out. So now that they found it out, they're now saying, okay, well then how can we build the coalition back? What can we do to get back together and do this? So here's what we're going to do. Tonight, we're going to go ahead and review this audio. We're going to talk a little bit about where this is going. And we're going to talk about where we go next. And if there's folks in the chat that want to speak to me, you're going to have to wait till we get through this audio. Okay? And if you want to have a conversation about where we meet and where we can disagree, that's fine. But I'm going to set the record straight. The record is going to be set straight tonight. That evangelicals, Christians need to come together. They need to be able to make a decision based on the merits of the argument, based on what is happening, what are the claims religiously, politically, and all of these things carry consequences. And we're going to allow the person who's put together this agenda to speak, okay? So I have no interest in disrupting the show as much as you want to do it. We're going to go ahead and do is talk about this and how it took place on JP's Live. Now, before I get to the audio, I want to see if everybody here is actually clear as to what we're doing. In other words, let me see if I can't get this going here. Because now we're looking at an audio page that doesn't seem to be loading. Give me 1 second here, chat. Now, and by the way, if this is all making sense to you and you're ready for this, then I'm glad to hear that you're ready to pull up a chair. Let me go to JP's page because that's where you can find this conversation. No secret. And then we're going to go through point by point some of the things that are being brought up, and we can answer those questions. But remember, the goal of this is to properly assess who we align ourselves with. Who's the who, chat? At this particular point, they drew a line in the sand. And the line is clear. It's, if you're not Eastern Orthodox, then you're pretty much wasting your time. Okay? In other words, hey, if you're not Eastern Orthodox, you're pretty much cooked. You need to repent from your Catholicism. You need to repent from your different ideas because that's not going to happen. We're not agreeing on that, and we're going to have to agree to disagree. So let me go ahead and pull up the audio now that I have it linked, and let's go through it and chat. By the way, I'm going to be looking at the chat. I want you to be poignant. I want you to actually pick out these little items that you're seeing, notate them, and then come and produce your case or present it. Maybe say, hey, Mulder, you're missing something. I saw this. You're going to have to help us out because we all have to make this decision together. This is very similar to talking to a voting block. Your voice matters. Clearly, you can see. All right, so let's get to it. We'll start the audio now. And then what we'll do too as well is JP will probably be swinging by. By the way, pray for JP as he's made a decision to move in the career path. So he's going to be less available in some of these things, but pray that the decision be with his future, meaning the best for his future, and that you lift him up in prayer as you think about him. Now, chat, make sure to tell me as soon as I click this play that the audio is good. All right, here we go.
And that's part of the online political space. There's no doubt about that. But I think if there was actual...
Oh, wait a minute. I apologize. I think this starts at 20 right here. Here we go.
Critique on any of your positions. I don't think that even ultimately would be fair if it was the case that it was just one-sided. You couldn't ask any questions back. I don't even think... what I came in here to do instead was have a conversation with you about something else.
Yeah, whatever you want, man. If I don't know, though, I'm just going to tell you I don't know.
So real quick, to JP's credit, he came in and JP says, hey, if you want, fire off 10 questions at me about my faith. You can go ahead and ask me about what I believe. Go ahead and, critique it. But Andrew came in, and to his credit, he's like, no, let's talk about something else. All right. So he says, all right, so then we're not going to do the gauntlet thing. Okay, fair enough.
I'm not going to be.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not a problem. So I think I've been watching a lot of this apologetics back and forth between Orthodox and non-Orthodox. And it's interesting because
by the way, Andrew positioned that perfectly. Let me do this because we got it at 1 time speed. You're okay. We're going to go 1.5 chat. Okay. But he positioned that properly. You see it? Orthodox and non-Orthodox. Did you hear it, chat? These are the things that you have to really pay attention to. You have to really pay attention to this. It's Orthodox and non-Orthodox. Oh, wait a minute. This did this again. Huh. Wow, this is the second time this has done this. Is this timing me out for any other reason, chat? Huh. Let's see. I don't know why this is doing this, chat. Anyways.
Where both sides were willing to levy themselves to an hour and a half of critique where they actually genuinely answered questions they were asked, that we'd get to the truth of a lot of these things a lot quicker from a theological perspective. What do you think?
Yeah, that's assuming that the parties at hand are trying to get to truth. So if that's the case, then yes. But if both parties are cross-examining each other and they're not seeking truth, then we're back to where we started.
Excellent point, JP. Excellent point. You hear it? JP says, you're proposing this new gauntlet, this internal critique, this interrogation. That sounds cool and everything, but you're not understanding that if a person comes in with ill intent, dishonestly, is just trying to dunk on somebody through interrogation, then you're not going to get to the truth. And in fact, all it is a dunk session. So it might as well be a free-for-all because we already know what the others believe, right? At least most of us do, right? If anything, Eastern Orthodoxy is new on the block. Most people that you talk to online have barely found out about Eastern Orthodoxy within the last 5 years, let alone the last 10 years. Okay? There's a lot we don't know. So JP pointed out, if the intention is good, let's do this whole debate thing.
Well, how can you not be seeking truth with a cross-examination, though?
Because again, like you said earlier, they could be trying to dunk on the other person.
So you can seek truth, but the truth of the matter is, depending if you're a good interrogator, if you're a good lawyer, I can line up questions in particular to make you look foolish. Oh, wait a minute. I already did that. But that's the point.
Yeah, but how would you do that in a cross-examination?
Yeah, if the person that's cross-examining me is an EO, or if the person cross-examining you is a Protestant, you can still run the same risk that the person cross-examining the other person is doing it to try to dunk on them.
Facts.
Yeah, but how does that work though? In a dunk, like, if there's no insults, there's none of that going on. If they're actually just going after the position, and the position from one side or the other sounds incoherent, that I don't even see how that's dunking, right?
All right, so here's what he's doing. Andrew Wilson, since he doesn't know these topics, and I give him credit, he never shies away and says no, and I probably won't know it for the rest of my life. He's coming with a presupposition. He's been told from different people, like Jay Dyer and everything, that the position of Protestants is untenable. It's incoherent. The position of Catholics is the same. They might lean more to Catholics saying, well, we understand where they made the mistake, but these people, sola scriptura, well, the way it's described is untenable, right? So he's operating on that information. So he's just wondering, it's like, well, if I ask questions and it seems incoherent, no, I can ask questions in a way where I could highlight something, I could straw man, I could literally fight with you for an hour representing something, or at least making it seem like you represent a belief that you don't, straw manning. He knows this. He knows this. So why is he acting like, no, I don't see how you can manipulate a cross-examination. Of course you can. And I don't really care. Because the challenge in the end is, what's the goal of this? Why does he want to propose this?
That's just one side being incorrect or not having a tenable position.
No, yeah, I think it goes with motive. I think motive is there, and
Why does motive even matter?
Bruh. Did you hear him? Did you hear what he said? Why does motive even matter? Come on, bro. Come on. You see the difference? I don't want to have a conversation with somebody who doesn't want to clearly tell me what they believe. And I don't want to have a conversation with a person who is not trying to represent what I believe or can't show me the inconsistencies and clearly see, right, that it's possible, it's tenable, it's coherent. And what you're trying to do is present it otherwise. If you have a problem with the belief, well, take it up with your church, because your church seems to believe otherwise. And that is also the religious message of their church that they don't want us to tell you. Okay?
Well, motive matters.
Like, let's say a person had a terrible motivation for wanting to cross-examine one of your positions to make your position appear to be false due to the fact that they thought it was, and you just didn't agree with their motive. Why would that even matter? Your position is going to be true or it's going to be false regardless of how they feel about it, right?
Yeah, in theory, I don't have any issue with that. In theory, I don't have any issue with that.
And nobody has any issue with you wanting to know. But he's pulled up and he believes this some sort of, I guess, nonsense. That's what it is. That this whole time, Protestants from different backgrounds don't tell you what they believe. Remember, his premise when he pulled up, he asserted none of these guys say anything about what they believe. He lumped me in. He said JP does it, that we don't talk about the gospel. We don't talk about our beliefs. We don't say from our backgrounds where we're from. We don't even say the churches that we've attended, Assemblies of God, what they believe. Pretty solid. Don't agree with everything. But hey, that's where I've attended most of my life. Calvary Chapel. This is all nonsense, bro. This is to try to set up to show what we're going to do is discredit them by doing the same script. The script is being exposed. It has been exposed. That's why you have very, very smart individuals that are listening to me right now who are brothers in Christ, other channels from HHS to Alden to Zanzi who are already doing this and just clearly pointing out, bro, some of the things that you're saying are not adding up. And all we're saying is, all right, if you have some issues, you don't like my explanation, I don't think you can send me to hell unless you're willing to die on that hill. And some of them are not, because they know that their church has struggled with the salvation of those outside the ark from the beginning.
But what I'm saying is you still run the risk of some person try to dunk on the other person. I get what you're saying if it's done respectful or whatever, but I think that's the fear that people on both sides have, that said person's going to try to embarrass me. And I think that's why there's a hesitance for conversations.
Well, I've been thinking about doing this for a while because I've always considered, even though my channel isn't about theology at all, it's not even really about religion. I guess to some extent, everything is reducible to religion. But I've been thinking about hosting a series of these between Protestants and Eastern Orthodox, where they actually pick a position and they hold to internal critique on the position. No obfuscation. No, now I ask a question when I'm in the middle of answering yours, but actual critiques back and forth.
Yeah. And that was a shot at who? That a person can pull up, want to do an internal critique, but then can't answer a simple question back. Do you see it? Do you know what conversation he's talking about, right? Mine and his. That's the conversation he's discussing at this point. And what happens is it takes the power away from you when you're trying to approach certain topics and point out, let's say, the weakness of the underbelly of a certain belief. If you know what that weakness is, then you should be able to go out and just proclaim that message as you have for years now and continue on your path. But no, they know what gets clicks is to try to set people up in these compromising positions. But my point is, the reason you got to go one for one is because you guys avoid these questions. All right, let me give you the question. The one question that they avoid and go to answer and answer completely from top to bottom is, how do you know your church is the one true church? Now, you may sit there and say, well, I'm pretty sure they've said it. They may have said it in passing, but in actual debates, the big cheeses of these debates, They avoid it like the plague. Why do you think that is, Chad? Yeah, they can't. This guy says, I'm not gonna lie, this is low IQ. Isn't this the same guy that pulls up that says the same thing all the time? What's lower IQ than that, bro? Same guy saying the same thing. Yeah, of course he is. This is his tactic. By the way, Jay, let me know in the chat here if you're willing just to pull up to do a few minutes here to give some color to some of the things that we're going to talk about in a minute. Let me know. Because if not, we could push it to another level. Or another live. Sorry, not another level. So here we go. Let's go back to it.
Where there's real positions that are put on the table. Is that something you're actually interested in doing?
I wouldn't be opposed to that. 100%. I wouldn't be opposed to that. But I don't know if you knew, but I am going to go back to school soon. So I won't be able to do it 100% as if I were not in school. And I made this announcement earlier, so it's not like I'm running or anything like that. But
I understand.
Yeah,
But good luck to you in school, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
What are you going for?
I could talk to you privately about. I'll shoot you a DM. I don't want to publicly say what it is.
Okay. Yeah. No problem.
Yeah, but I don't
Okay.
mind
Yeah.
shooting you a DM. But
Yeah.
but you know, I don't mind supporting that mission. Like I definitely would support that mission. I definitely support conversations and
Now, let me ask you guys a question. How many debates over the years have you seen two parties going at what they believe? How many topics are there? Online, Catholics versus Protestants versus EOs, or mainly it's Catholics versus Protestants. Like I said, EOs are newer to this in the last 5-10 years. Okay, all right, Jay, appreciate that. Then what I'll do is I'll open it up and maybe you can give a little bit of comments. Yeah, no worries. Just give a little idea of what you're seeing in terms of the EO agenda. So it's been happening for years. There's thousands of these conversations. But Wilson pretends, no, it hasn't. Not the way I want to do it. All right, fair enough.
if you're trying to make this a thing where it's like building a bridge to have individuals talk, you definitely have my support. I can't say anything about that.
Yeah, I think that's what the breakdown is, honestly. When I went back and I started reviewing a bunch of these, including on your channel. But it's not just you. It's not like you're the ultimate bad faith architect or something like this. It's that the discourse breaks down because some of these positions are really hard to defend. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're hard to defend.
Ready? Now ask yourself a question. Is that coming from Andrew Wilson? If they're really hard to defend, is that coming from him? Does he know that they're really hard to defend? Or is he hearing and understanding, maybe he catches it here or there, that because he's biased from his EO perspective or whatever it is, that he's coming to the conclusion that they're really hard to understand? Does he actually have that firsthand knowledge? Or is he operating on somebody else telling him? This is my point. And this is why I've said from the beginning, then who is it that has this particular gauntlet of questions? I would like to speak to that person, talk to them. And I think what's happening is that he's operating that Catholics, they have really, really tough position to defend. He's presuming the whole time. Why? Because we had a conversation twice where he pulled up to ask David Wood questions, had no clue what he was talking about. Then again, had no clue what his faith said at all. So this is a fair assumption. This is not crazy for me to say that. Okay? And I'm not even knocking him for it because he openly admits that. So then what is it that you're trying to accomplish now? Just, brother, for all, the love of the Lord, go watch the thousands of debates. Thousands that have already happened. Then When you come to the point where you want to do a 1 hour interrogation of each side, great. You can do it. But you're going to find that all the same questions have already been asked. But I'm arguing that not all the same questions have been asked and answered according to Eastern Orthodoxy from their perspective. In other words, I'm saying this has not been thousands of debates that they've done. They're new to this. They're new to this. And this is where I give Jay Dyer credit. I've said it to people. I had a priest and some other person argue with me that he's not actually responsible for literally 90% of the conversions. Then I had another priest agreed with me on another video. And I said, see? So then therefore, Eastern Orthodoxy has come on the map according to the timeline of Jay Dyer. In other words, his presence. And that has been maybe 10 years, more like 8 years according to somebody who's watching. So if anything, you guys are way behind on the thousands of interrogations of your position. Way behind. That's actually the proper context.
And so I think a lot of these guys on the Prot side and some on the EO side actually don't want to defend these positions. They don't want to actually stand internal critique.
You see that? I give him credit. He said on both sides. Now that is a W take. Andrew's being honest. He said on both sides. That's fair. I agree. But I think what you're finding is that there's more people now asking more questions about Eastern Orthodoxy. And if you want, just to give a view of I had as I investigated it, go look at the last live that I did. Save it and go watch it yourself and understand I just put out 3 reasons and a couple of additional reasons that I'm not Eastern Orthodox. And I don't sit here going around saying Eastern Orthodox people are going to hell. But I'm just telling you, I wasn't convinced of certain things. Hey, God bless you if you're convinced of the tradition. You believe in the essentials and your church says the same thing for me? Then let's move on.
And I think from a theological standpoint, that's terrible. That's absolutely a terrible idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. You did get the better of Kelly Powers there. Although, it was hilarious. I'm not going to lie. The staring contest was hilarious.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, but I do think that there are some Protestants out there that would be willing to defend their position. And even if it were something like, hey, 1 hour, you cross-examine me 1 hour, and then I cross-examine you 1 hour.
Yeah, and the moderator makes you actually engage with the questions. You can't run from them on both sides.
No,
So
yeah,
the thing I think that makes it fair is if it's both sides have to do it.
Now, of course, you'll get the pushback of people saying you're an EO and you won't be fair. I'm sure you'll get that.
I just watched the debate, like 2/3 of it, between JP and the recent debate on modern day debate. And I'm just going to put it out there. A lot of people were pointing out something to me that I picked up, but I didn't share notes till after. But somebody was telling me that modern day debate seems to be an EO sympathizer. I mean, according to the debate, it seemed a little pushy on one side. But I don't know his background. I don't know where he's at. But a lot of people won't tell you that they prefer a certain, version of Christianity, even if they were to believe in it, even if they don't believe in it. I've heard a couple people, famous people online, start to, give sort of credit, but don't make a decision whether they're even Christian. But they think, let's say, Catholicism is more convincing than Protestantism or EO or whatever it is. So I don't know, but I'll say that this moderation. That's why I don't think the moderation thing works completely. But as you can see, he's trying to submit a format.
I'll bring a Protestant on and have him co-moderate.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds perfect.
He governs his guy, or even better, he governs my guy and I govern his guy. So
that's the part that I did catch so far. What I was watching, he definitely corrected JP more than he corrected the other guy. So that I will give you. That I already saw. That was my clear, at least, impression from it. So, but hey, it's neither here nor there, bro. You guys want to, as they say, I'm gonna go ahead and be what is it? What's the fight tactic, or I'm sorry, the fight promoter? Okay, if you're gonna do anything and you want to go to, let's say, modern day debate to go over there and chat or do a debate, then that's your Don King over there. Okay, that's your Don King, right? and he can promote for you, and he could do that. If that's what you want to do and you want to be set in that stage, you could do that.
Better.
That sounds excellent. That sounds like
Yeah.
an excellent idea.
Yeah, that's even better. So have a prot come on. There's plenty of prots who are part of the Crucible audience.
Yeah, well, so just so you haven't foreseen a problem, if you have moderators from both sides, then that moderator can still, the Protestant moderator can still show his bias and over moderate. Or what ends up happening is because one moderator doesn't want the other moderator to overstep, they both don't do anything, and then you have them just talking. So then, what the heck is the moderators for? You should put them in the back, and they should step in if things get out of line, just like a referee. Okay, they're hugging too much, separate them. Do you see what's happening here? Do you see what's happening? So already I'm saying is this format, just, in theory, sounds good. Ain't going to happen. But, Andrew Wilson doesn't know the thousands of debates that already happened, even in the last, decade or two on YouTube.
Because we're a political channel primarily. That's appealing to everybody, right?
Yeah. This guy I wanted to introduce you to. He's an up and coming Protestant.
And let me forward it here. He talks to John, maybe John Dirks there. By the way, go sub to his channel. He's a good brother. Talking about the idea of maybe teaming up or doing some kind of a debate that Andrew Wilson's proposing.
Andrew would moderate.
I think if you had a series of debates between Protestants and Orthodox, where the Orthodox actually had to spend an hour under cross-examination for a position, if you did, I think that would do a lot to reach out to both sides of the community so that you could kind of bring some of this back together again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Bring what back together? Yo, chat, listen to this. So what we do is that Protestants and Catholics, because remember, we're now lumped in, non-Eastern Orthodox. Now Andrew Wilson is telling us that we are the ones that are causing this division. You see how that works? See, what's happening here is two people, both of these groups are just being unreasonable. But he doesn't remember how this started. How this started is the ortho bro activity. The ortho bro activity of then telling Ruslan, oh, you're a grifter. Oh, coming out with every kind of idea, insult that you can think of, right? And the ortho bro community being called out. That goes for a few weeks. David Wood, God Logic, everybody and their mama that's non-EO are grifters. But now we're being told by Andrew, see, it went too far. And it was both sides that they went too far. The gaslighting is real. That's not how this started, bro. And you need to start being honest about it. And if you don't know, then I could put you up on game.
I think that's why, historically formal debate has always pushed the conversation further. It's not quite as entertaining to watch, but it always pushes the conversation further, and it pushes forward the idea that actually survives scrutiny.
I disagree. Let me go on the record. Let me go on the record to tell you I disagree. I think that it's outdated. I think that, like Andrew Wilson might agree with me in certain respects, and others, that unless it's going to have some fireworks that are already pre-planned, unless you're going to do something maybe in person, and you're going to do for the flair of the debate, it's not. It's basically, let me read a PDF. Let me tell you why I disagree or make my point. I'm the positive here. Then you're going to attack my position, and let me read my PDF, and there we go. And then you might get a 10-minute, 20-minute exchange, cross-examination, and then everybody goes, "Ooh," the side that your guy's getting pressed. "Ooh, I'm so glad. So glad that's over. Now let's get into, oh, he got crushed." That's what's happening. So stop. Okay? All due respect. Let's just be honest with one another.
Yeah, I agree with this. So, but this is the failure that I see on the discourse itself breaking down.
Yeah, let me tell you this. Let me go on the record and say this, Andrew. 99% of Protestants that do particular apologetics don't know their faith. That's a fact. And
now he says 99%. If you know what I've been dedicated to my channel. And the reason that you're probably here and you're saying is, well, I've seen you before. I don't know who you are. Either which one. It's because the Christian community had said, mark and avoid him. Because what he's going to try to do is get down to conversations about what you believe. And there's no upside for it. He's a nobody. Ignore him. What you don't want to do is get caught in a moment where you don't know your faith. And then if you ask him a question, he's pretty good with handling the scripture. It's a lose-lose. It's not a win-win situation. So just don't have a conversation with him. So that's my perspective. So now that we're being honest, JP says 99. I don't think it's 99, but it's a very, very high number. And that's true. That maybe they haven't gone down to the fundamentals. That is true. But there are some that have. So maybe the debates and the conversation should be for the ones that proclaim to be the experts. I just saw somebody earlier that said that James White and the other priest, they're going to have a debate. Good luck with that. See if you come out learning something new about the Eastern Orthodox Church or about the Reformed position. You might, but you're going to have to dig to find it.
Probably 99% of all people who do.
And what I will say
by the way, this is no different than politics. 99% of people who do political debate don't know shit about politics.
Yeah, no, but what I will say is, if there's any good that came out of this whole fiasco, is that it put people in uncomfortable positions to where they had to defend their faith. And if they don't know their faith, well, now you have to go out and learn it. And so I think a lot of individuals who were doing particular apologetics have now been put in a position where it almost seems as fraudulent, that a lot of these guys don't know what they believe. Let's just put it out there. Now, David Wood was honest, and he said, hey, this is not my cup.
Real quick, the brother asked Mahler, you think people learn more from screaming matches with no structure? Is hilarious. What screaming matches? Are you talking about my conversation with Andrew Wilson? Yeah, you learned a lot. You learned he didn't know what he was talking about. You learned he didn't know the basics of his faith. You learned this just as much as you said David Wood didn't know anything. You found out Andrew Wilson didn't know anything. That's your angle. Nobody was screaming. There was only one crying like a baby. There was only one cussing me out, saying that I'm a homosexual. There's only one that did that. That was him. There's only one who couldn't control himself. And then he has the nerve to gaslight and pretend that was me. It wasn't me, because I deal with people like Andrew all the time. And I'm saying it's people like Andrew, people that are trying to control a situation. I want to know what you believe and why you believe it. You want to know what I believe and why I believe it? Then you got to ask the right questions and ask them. It's not my fault that you don't know what you're asking. You were gassed up and told to come here to go ahead and set something off. And now that you got it, you pulled up to JP's X space and you're trying to now say, all right, everybody chill out. Isn't that crazy? The gaslighter's trying to pull up after he lit it up, and it comes back and goes, all right, everybody, calm down, calm down. That's like the arsonist pulling up and going, all right, everybody, let me help you put this thing out. I don't know who did this, but let's go ahead and put it out.
But see, and at least he was honest. But for the rest of the 99%, they don't know anything. They don't. And so I would say that out of this whole thing that came out, that was one of the best things. On top of that, you owe me $100 because I am going to be showing up on Wednesday to be I'm going to debate Alex Soren on Wednesday. So
I'll keep my word.
Yeah.
If you do the entirety of the debate, I'll go right to your channel, send you $100. You ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah.
I always keep my word, and I always pay my bets every time.
Now, I will say the one person I will never debate is Rachel Wilson. I don't want any problems with Rachel. No smoke from her.
It's generally wise.
Yeah, don't want any problems with Rachel.
But
and I'll say that on record the same way. I can respect say dialogue and comments and things like that on X, but I'm not interested in speaking to people's wives, even if they are engaged in the debate sphere, and that's respectfully. I have no interest in it. And, I respect their marriage. I respect their union and everything. And that's why I would never do that. And just because I don't think it's wise. And maybe Andrew might agree with me on that. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, that's just me. And I respected JP's comment to being charitable there.
about, kind of back to this though, I think that's the way. I think that the way is that you actually do long form cross examination based debates.
Yeah,
I think
I think
that
this would be excellent. And I think it's not about the views, obviously, but I think some of these things can go viral and actually have a good impact and bridge the gap.
By the way, there's already channels doing this. You have that brother's channel. I think he's out from Cali. He has like a 4-on-4. You have another brother that just did the God Logic, where there was 3-on-3, 3 Muslims, 3 Christians. And then you had a 1-on-1. There's people doing this all the time. If they want to do them interfaith and they were interested, then they should do it. But I'm saying is there's already people doing a great format. And so, hey, more power to him if he wants to do this type of setup. But if the goal is for truth, if the goal is to be sincere and honest, then I think you'll have better results. But if it's not, you're not going to get the results that you want. All you're going to get is either chaos through the moderators, or we're back at square one, a 1-for-1.
I do agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important.
Another thing I
yeah,
think would be interesting, and I'm trying it out tomorrow night. I'm going to have a couple Anglican guys who believe in baptismal regeneration. I'm going to have them come on, and the title is "Can They Convince Me?" And so it's basically just them laying out their case for however long it takes, and I'm going to write down everything that I hear, and then I'm going to try and push back and try to not be convinced. And
well, yeah,
I think,
that's the easy position. The
of
skeptic's
course, but it's an
position.
interesting way. It's an interesting way for people to discover their arguments. You see what I'm saying? So it's not
really.
even.
It's just a skeptic's position. That's the easy position to always be in, is in the skeptic's position.
So literally what he was doing in my conversation. I mean, what are we doing here, chat? So I get it. He wants some truth, but he wants to be able to position the truth, right? Meaning of the person's position in a way where it is most advantageous and locks in the person. Hey, more power to you if that's what you want to do, but don't pretend as though every single day, as much as you say people are not being questioned, there is people obfuscating. They are literally avoiding fundamental questions, right? Those fundamental questions is how they came to know what they know. Epistemology, right? And that's why I got a lot of heat when I'm having conversations with 2 people who say they used to be Protestant. And then I asked them how they came to that. You saw how that worked. The Asian Dyer kid, and then the other one, Planks. And that didn't go so well. In fact, at the end of the conversation, I said, oh, so you and I, we're one and the same. Crazy.
I know it's
Position where
easy
you
for me.
attack and don't defend.
Yeah, of course. I know it's easy for me, but I'm saying I'm platforming their position so that people can learn about that, and then they can do the reverse, and they can learn my position as I put it forward to them, and then they.
So this debate, this conversation about a debate happens. We're going to move forward a little bit because it starts to transition as to what Andrew Wilson is going to start talking about is the Eastern Orthodox agenda.
Ever do those rules that you just proposed, because they would get exposed.
I agree. I think that this is actually the case for most people, that they'll never actually do a debate like that because they would have to defend the position. Now, in the political arena, this is very common. Like we have to run the gauge for internal critique. I have to do it for Christian nationalism constantly. I have to do it for tons of my positions constantly.
I'm still waiting to see the 1-hour non-clarifying fireback question video of this guy sitting being interrogated. You know the Mahler rules? You know the Mahler rules? Go to my Twitter. It's I don't even think I have a pin anymore. The Mahler rules. This is this new format. Still wait to see the video where he doesn't press back on the claims of his positive position, and he's not pressing back and doing the tu quoque.
Or I'm on the defense only side. And I think that that's healthy, right? It's
only fair. It's only fair.
Well, and it's just plain healthy. It's healthy for these positions to go under scrutiny. But I think that that's 99% of the breakdown of discourse is this. I think that the whole idea of when you go in these comment sections, oh, they're demonic.
No. Okay, so here we're getting into something interesting. You see? Now he's speaking from his perspective. You know that the language that he's using is the heat that he was feeling from his recent conversations, from his conversations with me and others, where he was flipping out, wigging out. And, you know, when I was asking him, what is the gospel? And, you know, a bunch of Protestants, even Catholics were like, yo, bro, like you get the basics right. Can't you control yourself? This is what he was getting. This was the heat that he was getting. That's why he was putting up his tweets. And even his wife's tweets which I gave credit. I said, that's true. People don't come outside like he does. And what was his critique? His critique is, you can't do what I do. I'm the one that puts my neck out here and does so. I'm just paraphrasing. And he's right. In that sense, he's right. But that means he was feeling the heat of people going, be a better representation. Do better. You had an opportunity to see if this can go 1-for-1. And it wasn't done properly. So whatever it is, I want to put in proper context that what he's about to explain is this is the heat that he was receiving because people were calling him demonic. But remember, this all started with the ortho, bro. You're all grifters. Remember, he pulled up and had the nerve to say, you don't defend anything. Jay Dyer says you don't do nothing. None of you guys do nothing. You're all grifters. But, we need to calm down the discourse now. Really?
Demon possessed, you know, the Satan's inside of them, you know, all this this rhetoric. It's like a lot of it just comes from obfuscation, people getting pissed off because they don't feel like they can get to their actual positions.
You don't
None
say.
of the positions are actually getting discussed.
Andrew, I wanted to ask you about that because obviously rhetoric it's so important and it's incredibly useful and it's a tool for a reason. You happen to be very good at it. Mm-hmm. But what place does that hold in the discourse, in your opinion? Like if there was a cross-examination or a moderated debate, you know, there's certain guys out there who, you know, JP is maybe calling them frauds, but maybe they're not frauds. Maybe they're just rhetoric guys.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
They engage everything at the rhetoric level, and it's works and it's good.
No, let me be very clear. By fraudulent, I mean they pretend to know more than what they actually do, and they don't know their own faith. That's what I'm saying.
Sure,
but that wouldn't necessarily entail frauds. What he's saying. So what John's saying is like, look, a person can believe that they know more than they do. If they're engaging in that, even though they don't, that wouldn't actually make them a fraud, right?
Yeah, it would. It would make them fraudulent by pretending to tell the audience that they do know. Like, for instance, pulling up to answer questions, and then I ask you, where'd you get those questions from? Because you said you don't even know what you're asking. Something like that.
And I think some people are just really, really good at the rhetoric level of any position that they hold. But as you know too, and I'm sure you've seen it in the political sphere, there's layers to this, there's levels to this. And so that was my question to you, is how do you see that in the religious space or in the apologetic space? Like, how high tier do we need to be? Do we need to have PhD philosophers debate everything? Or is there a place for the rhetoric level debates as well?
Yeah, well, it depends on if you're doing vibes or propositions.
Sure.
So remember that 90% of all debate is vibe debate, how I feel about stuff. Right. So if I ask you, you know, do you like Donald Trump? Let's just say as a theory here. Do you like Donald Trump, John?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I like Trump too.
I mean, I wish you would have released those 9/11 files.
Whatever, but whatever reasons you
9/11, JP. 9/11? Yeah, that's two, but how about releasing the ones that he was like, oh, it's a hoax. There's nothing. How about releasing those? How about releasing the Epstein files? You know, where he told us that we were all bat crazy and that there's nothing to see. It's a fraud. It's a lie. Remember that? How about those files?
like Trump 4, they're going to probably line up with some political preferences you have and vibes, right? Most of it's just going to be vibes based, not unless we get to the policy level, and then it's going to switch, right?
Yeah.
And it would be the same thing with dogmas and things like this. Rhetoric is fine, and there's lots of preacher men who are on the internet who don't want to engage in debates at all, and there's lots of political commentators who are the same way. They don't want to engage.
See what he means? There's a lot of preacher men. So he wasn't talking about EOs. Now he's focused on one side they don't want to. But literally, there's thousands of debates where quote unquote preacher men are. And I'm not saying they're winning those debates. They exist. So what is this new interest? Well, you're going to find out in a moment why he's so interested. Why he's so interested.
Engage in debates at all. They just want to do their commentary. Here's what I think about things, and they're done. But that doesn't do much for the helpful nature of the discourse of debate itself. And it's like, look, I think at the foundational level, if we're going to go after actual propositions, then let's go after actual propositions. You know,
Yep.
Which you can do on a daily, every day, all day. That's what they do. Catholic apologists, EO apologists, Protestant apologists, all day. All day.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that's where things need to end up. I know for myself, I'm actively trying to get good at both because I understand that the purpose of debate is either to sway the opponent or the audience. And most times it's to sway the audience. That helps your cause. And so being good at rhetoric is very helpful for persuading an audience.
well,
But
yeah, it's. I mean, but what the old three philosophers said on this and on rhetoric. It's just anything which convinces.
sure. And
That's rhetoric.
yeah,
Anything that convinces. So, like anything, whatever falls under the category of that would be rhetoric.
right.
You mean
And-
like
and
trying to
winning-
convince us that you have this new magical gauntlet interrogation format that's going to clarify who the victor is when it comes to the claims of salvation that's been happening for hundreds of years? And if you go back to the EO Catholic debate, thousands. Right.
The debate by actually defending your position is then the most powerful form of rhetoric. So they're both important. So yeah, I agree with all that. JP, I got to duck out. Andrew, thanks for talking for a minute, man. Appreciate
You're
all of
welcome.
you.
Have a
See you
good
later.
one, John. Take
Yep.
care.
Yeah, and Andrew, if anybody has a singular question to ask you, can we bring them up? Just if some regarding the topic, like this particular topic.
Yeah,
I don't know how
care.
much time you have. All right, so Alton, do you
You're
have
just chilling.
yeah, Alton, do you have a question or anything like that? It says you're a speaker.
No, not at the moment.
All right, cool. Oh, so you're just chilling. All right. Well, if anybody
Haven't
has
I talked to you before, Alton?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Do you think that this conversation, if anybody has a question, whether you're EO or Protestant,
Which, by the way, he posted that conversation.
then just request up. Whether you're EO or Protestant, doesn't matter. Catholic, just request up. It has to be regarding the topic, though. All right. So, Andrew, do you think this conversation you have with Kelly is going to go any better?
Yeah, I do.
What's the topic now?
Well, I mean, it's just a refined form of the same one. But I think he genuinely wants to hear out what I have to say. So, I talked with him back and forth a bit in DMs, and it's like, I'm not here to be the big bad wolf.
Well, that's good to know. If you're not here to be the big bad wolf, then we'll see, right? And so I predict that a conversation between him and Kelly is going to be them on their best behavior, them trying to act like peace is literally their motivation, and not really trying to cut one another off or do any of that. And I could be wrong, but I guarantee you it's going to be a flawless conversation as to be as chill as possible. None of this, I'll cut you off, none as they were acting last time or how Andrew acted with me. It's not going to be that. It's going to be something different. And why? So that he could continue to push what he's pushing now. Watch as he continues to tell you in this new apparent world view that he has of uniting with Protestants and Catholics.
I just want to actually talk to you guys. I think that there's a massive breakdown in discourse where there was a beginning of demonization. I think with a lot of this began with the bingo comment, right? Bingo.
Oh, so now he points out who started this, at least from his view, and accurate. Kudos to Andrew Wilson for remembering. It was the bingo. W take, Andrew. It was the bingo where the Dawagandist accused God Logic of being a grifter. And of course, the famous bingo by Jay Dyer, who said, yep, this is exactly it. They're really not Christians. They're just trying to make money, pretend they have a view, but they don't really have a view. That's exactly what started it.
Go to the Muslim guy, and then it's everyone's pointing fingers at the other one, saying, "Hey, they're all aligning with Muslims," and it's yeah, and it became a bit of hysteria. And I don't think that that's even necessary, right? There's still, from my perspective, there's a broader political fight, and the Eastern Orthodox.
A broader political fight? Huh. Interesting. This whole time, I thought we were trying to figure out a person's theological positions and dogmas. Isn't that what we heard? Politics? How does this work?
And Catholics need Protestants, whether they like it or not. They know it. I know it. But Protestants need Catholics and Eastern Orthodox too for that broader political fight.
Do we really? Yo, Catholics and Protestants. Listen, pay attention. Pay attention. Catholics and Protestants. Those of you that are in the United States of America, but let's just say around the world, all my brothers and sisters, do Catholics and Protestants really need Eastern Orthodox? Do we really? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yugi always on it. Look at this. We don't need them. I need Jesus, man. That's right. That's what you need. That's what you need. Never need U.S. history at all. Fact the mundo. That is correct. No, if the numbers mean anything anymore. No. Who? Proper question. We need someone to buy the cool costumes. Fact. Fact. I'm just saying. Really 1% of the U.S., what a joke. Nope, we need the Lord Jesus Christ all the way. Funny, isn't it? Look at this. Prot spread the gospel to fish for people. EOs need people for clips. Wow. W take. W take. All right. So I think you get the point. But let's continue hearing this particular line of question, because remember, he positioned it as Eastern Orthodox and non-Eastern Orthodox. Now, all of a sudden, we need them just as much as they need us. Okay.
You don't have a choice, right? Eventually, we have to have policy that suits us, and we're not going to have policy that suits us if the internal fighting gets so bad that it's not on the actual scripture-based topics, but it bleeds out into the he's just a horrible person, needs to be tarred and feathered, this type of thing. It's very divisionary, right?
Right. Because of the rhetoric, because of the behavior, because of leaders in your camp saying things like, they're all grifters, bro. They're not even Christian. That's your camp. That's your man's, bro. That's what it is. So I'll ask the audience again. What group is responsible for putting Donald Trump in office, chat? Okay? Protestants, evangelicals, we'll say, Catholics, or Eastern Orthodox? Who is the primary party responsible for putting a president into office? The most controversial president and figure probably in human history. Who of those three? Please. I'd like to know, chat. I'd like to know, because you're smart. You already know. You already know. Even the Catholics know, dude. Even the Catholics know. Come on, man. Come on, chat. That's right. Just speak it. Just say the truth. Even Catholics, some of the Catholics, drop the truth. Come on, just drop it. Just drop it. Yeah, well, exactly. Protestants, I think that's the group. Look at this. Look at that. So you're not falling for this. You're not falling for this. Well, we're going to get to that in a minute, Yugi. We're going to get to that particular point in a minute. In a minute. All right, so let's go for it.
No, yeah, and I agree with that. I think that at a certain level, it's gonna have to. Here's the deal: it just gets a little weird because I've met people in person, I've debated people in person, not formally, but I've done it, and it's like a different kind of environment when you're talking to somebody in real life. Whereas I think it's on the internet, people just get real comfortable. They just will say whatever they want to say. And, I think all of those things considered, I think that's what's created the culture that we have now today. It's not just in Christianity. I think it's just in general. You'll meet people in real life. Well, actually, I've done
Well,
that.
I don't dispute this, though I've done IRL debates that have been way more brutal than debates done on the internet. So it depends on the situation, this kind of thing. There's no real dispute there. But I'm not trying to put an olive branch out to a bunch of leftist scumbags, right? I'm not. That's
No,
not.
yeah,
Really,
yeah.
that's not really what my to reach out to baby killers and be like, oh hey, let's all sing Kumbaya. That's not really the goal here. There's a political perspective that is often missed, that it's become very divisionary inside of these apologetic spheres, where it's like, look, can we at least agree on the political level? You probably agree with most everything that I'm saying at the politics-based level, right?
Yeah, let me ask you a
Yeah.
question. Are you pro-life or are you in what do they call the other guys? This
Abolitionists.
yes. What would you consider yourself?
I mean, I would ultimately prefer abolition, but it's not a realistic political position. You're gonna have to yield something small on the.
Wow. Is Andrew already playing politics? Is he literally trying to tell us what's a more pragmatic approach to some of these life or death topics? Hey, we can give it to him. He's trying to get something passed.
The abortion side, and if it's like the life of the mother is in danger, something like that I think that you're going to have to draw the reasonable delineation there.
Wait, so they don't wait. So if the mother's life is in danger, they don't believe in saving the mother's life kind of thing?
It depends on the abolitionists. A lot of
Yeah, some of those guys
abolitionists,
are really radical.
a lot of them make the distinction based around not that, but around retroactively going back, and every woman who's ever had an abortion gets prosecuted as a criminal, right? Now, I don't want to straw man the abolitionist position, just in case I'm getting this wrong. Don't quote me on this, right? But that's my understanding, and I think that that's unrealistic, though perhaps morally founded. It's still unrealistic politically, right?
Yeah, let me ask you this. Why is it that you think what's your theories on why Trump hasn't, he kind of sidestepped the Epstein files and
There we go, JP.
the 9/11
There we go.
files.
Uh-oh.
What's your theory on that? Is that all blown out of proportion, or what's going on with that stuff? Because I've seen a lot. He lost a lot of support regarding the Epstein files and regarding the Martin.
Well, the Iran war is where he's lost. That's where he's lost.
And the
majority of
Israel
his
stuff,
support.
right?
Yeah, that's 90% of what his haters have latched onto is that. The Epstein files, he was basically correct about that. Democrats were going to use it as a hoax to paint him as being a pedophile or a pedophile protector.
Yeah, well, with all due respect, they had years to do that. They tried to throw the man in prison. They tried to off him. They had their opportunity to do that. And if he's saying he looked at the files and had them discover that, they were painting him in a certain light, I'm not buying that, bro. Okay? But remember, he said it's a hoax. And this is what I have to say for people who are MAGA heads. And I'm not saying Andrew Wilson is. It sounds like he actually probably has a more balanced view to know when Trump has stepped in it. Okay? Remember, I'm a big Trump supporter. But now the support that I have for Trump is I'm going to require him to do what he said he was going to do. And the Iran war has made that impossible. A huge decision that has ramifications across world economies. The lives of millions are being affected daily as this debacle continues. I'm not going to let him off with that. I'm not going to sit here and tell him, oh, well, maybe he'll figure it out. No, it's almost as though you've pretty much sank the chances of your whole second administration to be in at all for us to be able to account to successful economic policies. Because remember, for most of us that voted, it was all about the economy, dummy, as they say, right? So ask yourself this question. If he were to then just pull this crazy card on us and just come out and say, hey, dumb MAGA voters, you thought the Epstein files was something I'm going to release? You thought I was going to keep us out of war? That was a hoax. The whole thing was a hoax. Yeah. Listen. No. How about I say this? How about to a person who believe, hey, the shots were a hoax, the hoax, to the person who believes that they set that up so they can steal elections, how about I say this? How about I up one on you? And I say, it's all a hoax. The whole thing's a hoax. There was no stealing election. There was no nothing. In fact, you getting in the ear, that was a hoax. And I say it back to you, pal. Imagine how you're going to feel. Imagine how you're going to feel. The whole thing was a hoax. This is where people get off thinking that we're stupid and we're idiots. And at this point, we got. But moving on, we have to hold people accountable. Trump created this mess, and it's his mess that unfortunately, unless he tucks tail and gets out, we're going to pay the consequences for generation. He'll be dead and gone, and our kids and our grandkids are going to be paying for this.
And use it as a political bludgeon, and that's exactly what they did.
Got it. All right, Alton, you have your hand raised, so go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, Andrew, in your opinion, where do you think we are going to be as a nation within the next 4 years by the time we get ready for the next election? I mean, do you think it's going to shift left? Do you think it's going to remain right? Or do you think it's going to kind of move towards the center?
I think that there's a good likelihood that Democrats are going to take power and pack the courts. And if they do that, we're screwed.
Yeah, because I've been hearing that, so I wanted to get his take on that.
There's a good likelihood that the Iran thing, whether you agree with it or not, has been a political blunder for Trump.
Agreed.
And he's lost a ton of domestic support
Absolutely.
from it. He has not gotten the ceasefire that he thought he had. And yeah, that's creating serious political waves.
W take. Me and Andrew, like I said before, we agree on a lot. Fundamentally, there's some fundamentals, I'm not even talking about religiously, where we might disagree. We might look back at history and disagree, but I'm going to give him a W take for that. He has recognized that the political winds are now against Trump. His legacy's done. He would have to basically shoot perfect from now to the end of his administration in order to even pull this to an even, or for us, the ones that got him in, evangelicals, for us to turn back and say, all right, he was okay. And he's not going to shoot perfect from the line. He's not going to shoot 100% from now until then. It ain't going to happen. So I agree with that. But I want to go ahead and do something, chat. I'm going to go ahead and don something right now that is my political take, and that it involves you. We're going to get back to the video here in a second. It involves you. Listen what I'm telling you right now, and I'm going to go ahead and say it clear, okay? That MAGA is dead. It's gone, and Trump killed it. So today, whether we have partners in this or not, okay, Eastern Orthodox, everyone's welcome. Everyone is welcome to this coalition, okay? This coalition that Christians found in every tradition, Catholics, Protestants, Orthodox, come together to now don a new day. And the new day, since MAGA is dead, is now MACA. Make America Christian again. Because the MAGA days are done. It's over. That is over. So, chat, start to think about how it is that we can begin to pick up the pieces. I'm going to go ahead and make my quote unquote prophecy. I'm going to make my prediction that the next person that they will put in power and the next person they're going to try to shove down your throat is not even going to be the vice president, Vance. It's going to be one Marco Rubio. And if I'm a Republican strategist and I want to continue the quote unquote MAGA agenda or something that seems similar to it, which we know is just the Israel agenda at this point, is that I'm going to pick Rubio twice, or as they say, one day, every day out of the week and twice on Sunday. Why? For one reason, chat. One reason, chat. One and one reason only. Chat, do you know what that is? Because Marco Rubio speaks a very, very important language. Go ahead, chat. You got to participate. What language is that? Let's see if watching this dumb Mexican has given you any kind of insight. Any kind of insight. Yeah, they speak Cuban. That's fact. That's fact. That's right, man. They speak a Cuban, man. It's really one. It's not Hebrew. That's hilarious. It's not Hebrew. He speaks globalist. Man, you guys are crushing it. I'm not going to lie. This is some funny stuff. He speaks globalist. Yo, that's a W take by my boy Woo, bro. W take. Because he is hablas español? So habla español? You better believe it. You better believe it. That's exactly why he's going to be the next candidate for president of the United States. Now, they're going to try to push Vance. They might even do a showdown debate. And I think Vance is better in debates. But Marco Rubio is no slouch. They've been prepping one of these two guys. And as soon as the one starts polling or tearing up the polls in one way, they're going another direction. Trust me. Yeah. No, Rusan, sorry. I'm still getting cleared. The powers that be are still patting me down and making sure this dumb Mexican can get cleared to take super chats. I had to switch the channel over. It's a whole thing. But you're the expert in this, so maybe you can help me out later. I'm Rubio over Vance. So let's just keep it a buck before we get too political here and start to stray off. I would say if you want to win, yes, Rubio is your guy. If you want to win, Rubio is your guy. But Vance, I think, could do better in debates, in the formatted debates for the president. I think he could do slightly better and actually get some gotcha moments on the opponents, the Democrats, whoever they're going to put up. Lord knows who that is. Good luck.
For him. So the midterms are likely going to go Democrat. I mean, and by the way, historically, that's the case anyway.
Yes, because it's a reaction. It's a reaction to, I can't believe Trump won. Let's go the other direction. This is no secret. You can just measure it. And even if it were to stay, let's say it doesn't go completely Democrat or hardcore, what are we talking about? This guy can't get his snout out of Iran. He can't. Absolutely. So I'm going to tell you, he's about to walk into this. What you're going to begin to hear is a new labeling, a taking over of what's known as the Christian nationalist agenda. Everybody has their spins, their versions. From the Joel Webbins, which I've heard a little bit about. Nick Fuentes, I mean, just figure that disaster out. This dude can't do a stream without basically insulting the whole world. And then next week he's like, and Trump. He can't hold himself. I don't know who this dude is. To me, seems like an op. Straight up. That's what he seems like. I don't know who he's fooling. But your whole Groiper vibe, bro, you couldn't flip a Senate seat with your Groipers. A House seat, bro. Cut it out. I don't know who's funding some of these people, but nobody's walking around acting or thinking that Nick Fuentes, allegedly is not married. Allegedly, he goes both ways or whatever it is. Nobody's buying what he's selling. That was just political rhetoric. It was fire. It was this distraction to get us to believe that we have a person that may become president in the future generations. If that ends up being the case, it's because he has been brought under the wing of the political elite like Rubio and is going to be propped up. I don't think that some of these folks that are out here as the face are going to be any advantage to us Christians. Pay attention to what I'm telling you. I said Christians, which Protestants, Catholics, and Eastern Orthodox have Christians in their camps. But Christians start to figure out when they're getting played. Useful idiots. You don't believe me? Watch what you're about to hear.
That they would probably go to the Democrats as well. And unless there's serious candidates that are being fielded in the near future, we're going to be in really big trouble, man. And Democrats are going to take it.
Agreed.
We got a person that just called in. Amy, how's it going? Do you have a question for Andrew? Just unmute yourself.
Hello. I just was looking at the prompt and
Oh yeah,
just
we're
think that
we're talking about.
moved on.
No, yeah, the oh man, I'm not gonna rip. Okay, so look, so the proposed idea is that
Let me forward this part a bit.
since
More heavily
Benjamin, you coming up here?
All right, so let me back this up just a bit. I want to introduce you to the new. Are you guys ready? Please tell me that you're ready, because I don't want to do this and it turns out you guys are not ready. So please tell me that you're ready for an announcement. You're about to meet the new. Listen to what I'm telling you, chat. You're about to listen to the new introduced, new improved Jay Dyer. This is the guy. This is the guy that they're going to prop up as the EO Nick Fuentes. The new Jay Dyer, who's not going to put his foot in his mouth and alienate 80-90% of his base. This is the guy. And you're about to hear it, so pay attention, chat. Are you guys getting nervous? You don't need to. Because Andrew Wilson is about to call on the guy who's the next guy up.
have a dialogue. I don't mind having a conversation.
Benjamin, how you doing, man?
Who is Benjamin?
You coming up here?
Who's Benjamin?
Only 2 cents I'll add, because I got to change my daughter. But I was gonna say real quick, look, I think it's great. I don't think any Protestant who's worth their salt should dodge the ability to answer questions under scrutiny and an examination. I think that's totally fine. But I'm going to be honest, at least from my perspective, if it means anything, as long as one side is saying we're not true Christians, it's not going to be reconciled.
Oh, no, he didn't. No, Yugi did not do what I think he just did. Did Yugi just paint the actual facts of the matter? We're being told we should unite with a group that we just admitted is 1% of the population, the voter bloc. That's probably being generous. And Yugi says, wait a minute. How does this whole unity thing work when you're aligning yourselves with churches apparently from hell? Did you catch that? How does that work? Well, you're going to see it doesn't. That if we align theologically or politics, as we put it, another brother here, the politics aspect, this is exactly why the truth cartels always said from the beginning, the politics of faith, family, and finance. Why? Because politics permeates every aspect of your life. It affects the policies that affect faith, family, and finance. There's no joke here. Nobody's pretending, nor is Yugi. So he makes the point. What are you talking about, unity, bro? You literally think we're from Satan. At least that's what the Ortho Bros are saying.
There's a
Why not?
There's a core issue. Sure, I'll try to explain as best I can. If you mind, if you can give me a minute, I just got to take care of my daughter real quick.
Yo, what's up, guys? Hey, Andrew. God bless, brother.
Shut up.
Benjamin Michael. Does anybody know who this is? Yo, chat, can somebody tell me who Benjamin Michael is? I'd like to know. You could educate me. Who's Benjamin Michael? Anybody know? Anybody know his YouTube name? Anybody know who this is? No. Yo, Reform says a dork. Come on, bro. You got to give me more information than that. Yo. Illuminati? Nobody knows? Uh-oh. Do we have a winner? Do we have a winner? Ding, 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 ding. Orthodox Luigi. Yeah, you enters. Orthodox Luigi. Cleves body. Luigi? It's a me. It's a Mario. Huh. Interesting. Or is this the new Jay Dyer? I'll let you decide, chat.
Benjamin, you know, we come up here. We're trying to have this nice conversation.
We can have a nice conversation. I don't know what we're
trouble.
doing.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I'm here with. I'm actually here with Fear is Truth. We're at a conference together. So
I'm sorry, you're here with who? Did you guys hear that? He's here with who? Who was that, chat? Chat, you want me to rewind it? He's here with who? I'm sorry, who? Who's he here with?
hey, Andrew. God bless, brother.
Shut up, Benjamin. You know, we come up here. We're trying to have this nice conversation.
We can have a nice conversation. I don't know what we're
trouble.
doing.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I'm here with. I'm actually here with Fear is Truth. We're at a conference together. So
Fearless Truth? Fearless Truth? You mean the same guy who came out against JP and me started posting things about my comments about the gospel? Him and his new cohorts. Andrew's found a new part of his coalition in one. What's the guy's name that's a part of Louder with Crowder? His co-host or his assistant, whatever the guy's name is, that started yapping, interjected, placed himself in the conversation, reached out to these guys, crickets. Fearless Truth, isn't this God Logic's right-hand man? Huh? Are you guys starting to put this together? Infiltrate much?
he's with me right now. So, good. But what's going on here?
Well, we're discussing. I was trying to discuss the breakdown of why I think the dialogue between Protestants, Catholics, and Eastern Orthodox has gotten so bad. And
yo, this is hilarious, bro. He made that dude the CEO of Louder with Crowder. That must have been like a protection of assets move. I don't know what's going on there. How was that dude the CEO?
it's my belief that the reason is because the idea of internal critique is essentially dead. And that what actually needs to happen in these debates is there needs to be a good hour of internal critique on a singular position with a moderator forcing the questions to be answered on both sides. That way we could make determinations of truth for larger audiences.
But I mean, like, even then, like, there's, like, I mean, are you talking about paradigmatic criticism, you know, or are you talking about a particular topic? Because, like, for example,
both would be good. Actually.
Worldviews, bro.
Whether
Worldview.
it's paradigm worldview based, or it is at the specific propositional level, I think both are fine, and I think both would still do very, very well under the idea of internal critique for the purpose of audiences.
Yeah, I mean, so is that what this is about? Is just about whether or not that's a good idea, or like what?
Well, it's whether or not this can even be done. Like, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to offer up the Crucible as a platform to host these debates.
Yeah.
I'll even bring a.
Okay, let me point out a W take. Does anybody buy that they were just, yeah, him and Fearless Truth, yeah, we're just chilling, bro. And we just saw you guys had the sex. We have no idea what's going on, bro. Like, we just pulled up. We have no idea. Does anybody buy that, chat? Do you buy that these guys didn't know what was happening? That they just pulled up, they innocently like, oh my goodness, what kind of X space is this? And they pulled up. Chat, yes or no, please? Please. Yes or no? Do these guys know what's going on or not? Huh? Anybody? Huh? Cap? Cap? Yeah, they're like, whoa, dude, what is this? Is it X space, bro? Yeah, I don't even know, bro. Maybe they just woke up. Facts. Facts. Maybe they just woke up. Of course you believe them. Of course you do. Totally. Totally off the cuff. Totally. I was anointed by Father Wilson. Maybe. Maybe. Just like politicians, they think they could say and get away with anything. I didn't say that. You did. I didn't say that.
A Protestant moderator on, and the way that I would do it is the Protestant, he moderates the Orthodox, and the Orthodox, or vice versa or whatever. The moderators moderate the other guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so in this way, there's not even an appeal to bias. But I think that 90% of these things, the breakdowns and what I hear from my audience is like they just never get anywhere, dude.
Yeah. No, I mean even like the long form debates, I feel like don't really get to the core of a lot of the problems.
Look at this. The Doomer agrees with me. W take. Jay Dyer Jr. I mean, that's pretty much. Can we just call him Jay Dyer Jr.? I mean, can we do that?
That's because of, why I think that is, though? I've been reviewing these. I think a lot of the reason that happens is because the moderators allow for obfuscation and won't actually stop the debate, say, I'm reclaiming the time over to the other person. Sure. But you need to answer the question.
Really? That's really what's happening?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that sounds like, I think it sounds like a great idea. I could see maybe like are you thinking like a 1v1, or are you thinking like a 2v2, or what?
No, 1v1, one person.
Yeah, bro. Can I keep it a buck, bro? I know you guys are fans of this and stuff because you like to see multiple of your favorites, right? On. But I agree with Wilson. It's 1v1 all day, every day. It's 1v1 all day, every day. There's no 2v2. Knock it off.
One person, and the view is,
or as I put it, nobody's gonna bail you out. No moderators. One for one. Nobody's gonna come help you. Nobody's gonna save you.
Specific, like if we want to really talk about sola scriptura, then take an hour to answer the battery array of questions honestly about what the position is there.
Do you see his presupposition? He assumes whatever he has in his mind, that sola scriptura is just something that doesn't align, and that maybe his church or the authority that's based in his church, or the authority claims that his church makes, have nothing to do with the eventual claim or the fundamentals of his own faith. So he's just saying, yeah, it's obviously untenable. Why? Because I watched somebody say, how do you know Matthew wrote Matthew? And because he heard that, he believes that's a winner chicken dinner.
And then if on the other hand, you think that the church authority is an authority which needs to be adhered to, you need to stand up to internal critique there as well.
Yeah, look, listen, I will say this. There are a lot of walls that prevent conversations from happening. If Andrew can be that bridge to make conversations happen more frequently, instead of there being months of debates in advance.
I'm game. JP saying, just pull up, have conversations if you want to get things off your chest, or if you want to ask. Like, I don't know this about sola scriptura. I've never heard this point. Or if you're pulling up to go, I'm going to try to get him in a gotcha. Whatever your motivation is, right? This is exactly what's happening. But watch, the conversation switches.
And going through 50 emails. If Andrew can be that bridge, this can be a very great thing.
Yeah, you just need to actually have Protestants that would be willing to take foundational positions.
Yeah,
And the Eastern Orthodox guys also.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Yeah, I mean, I would love to do this with any Protestant that's willing to try to defend sola scriptura for an hour, and I'll defend EO for an hour.
Well, not just EO for an hour. You would need to defend what their specific criticism of EO is for.
Well, yeah, whatever it is that they're pressing me on.
Yeah, and you would need to actually answer their questions in a good faith way, or the moderator returns their time and tells you to answer their question, and not, like there's also the problem of filibustering going on forever to run out the clock, various things like this. And I think that those things can be reined in by skilled moderators.
Yeah.
Like a guy, who would be really good at doing this actually with me, surprisingly. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud.
Watch this, chat. Watch this, as he wants to extend another olive branch to another group. He's speaking to evangelicals primarily here with JP. Guess who he needs to reach out to? All right, you got it. You guys got to be involved here. Who do you think, what group is he going to reach out to now? He just hit Protestants. What group is the natural next person to extend an olive branch now that he's on his peace tour? Huh? Which one? I got a branch for you. Who is it? What group? What? Say it ain't so. Catholics? Católicos? No way. No. Yeah, Mormons too. I mean, if he wants to win in Utah, politically. Catholic brothers? Probably. Catholics? Ooh, Catholics? Man, you guys are too smart. Atheists? I mean, yeah, that's funny. No. Pentecostals? No, he's already talking to us. All right. The richest church? Yeah, that would probably be Mormons. I mean, per capita. Per member, sorry. Uh-oh, you guys are starting to figure out. Let me do this. Let me come in as the person who's going to fix all the problems that Jay Dyer made. He's the one that caused this, and I need to come in and rectify this. I just did it with the Protestants, and now I'm going to go ahead and reach out to Jay Dyer's archenemy, the Catholic Trent Horn.
It is true. Would be Trent Horn. Trent Horn would be fantastic at the moderation aspect of being like, no.
And I think he'd actually do it. I think
he probably would. I think that if the idea there is that it's going to be a specific proposition, your own personal beliefs have no bearing here. It's just the argument and whether or not the person's answering the questions in regards to the argument in the way that it's being asked, towards the proposition. I think he'd do great at it.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious, Paula White.
So, these are my 2 cents. If you really want to see less of the breakdown, I'd like to hear from that guy Yugi again when he's all done.
Oh yeah, I'm good now. I was waiting until you guys are done to jump in.
All right, Yugi.
Okay, so
Yugi,
just for clarification,
before you go,
yeah,
Yugi,
go ahead, brother.
Andrew, who would be? Do you have any, like, let's say, you have any time frame to when you want to start doing this, or anybody that might participate? Because, like I said, I'm going back to school. And so I won't be able, but I'm willing to help the cause. So if I can reach out to somebody and make it happen, I could put in a good word and a good word of recommendation to a Protestant.
I mean, I think we should start doing them immediately. At least one a week. Over on the Crucible, you're going to get, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of views you'll end up getting off of a single debate, and those we can leave up because they're very clean, right?
Wait a minute. Those you can leave up because they're very clean. But ones that are not very clean, we take down. I wonder what debate he's talking about.
And it's like, I consider this a public service. So a lot of the people in the Crucible aren't even interested in that kind of content.
Agreed.
There are quite a few who are.
Agreed. I would agree. I don't think you're going to be tuning in to the Crucible or his channel. He might have to partner up and create a new channel and do it that way. But I don't think modern day debate's going to like that too much. Another competitive channel? No way.
But from my perspective, I've always done those as a public service. And so it's like, I think it's important. And I think that discourse at an all-time low when an election season is right around the corner.
Wait, what? What does an election being right around the corner have to do with theological discourse? Chat, you got to make me put this together. Okay, maybe I'm just a dumb Mexican, Holmes. Maybe, Holmes. What is the election coming around the corner have anything to do with theological debates of a gauntlet? Chat, help me out. You know what? Hey, white people, help me out, white people. We got theological debates. We got Christians going at one another right before the midterms. Tell me how this works, Mueller. I don't know. It seems like every time this guy's trying to get to the truth, something pops up. Elections. Huh. You speak hillbilly and redneck? You better redneckanize. Help me out, gringos. Amen, hermano. I don't know what's going on, bruh. Talk to me. Why does this keep coming up? You guys are smart. Tell me, what am I missing?
It's like, we better start reconciling some shit here pretty quick.
Yeah, and let me say this before Yugi goes. I'll be honest.
Yeah, because pressing an EO for an hour and then the EO pressing an evangelical for an hour or a Protestant or a Catholic for an hour, that's certainly going to get unity right at the right at the voting boxes. That's exactly the goal. Come on, man.
Honest, the whole EO thing of them saying we're not brothers and all that, for me personally, listen, I feel the same exact way about you guys. So I guess it is what it is. For me, it is what it is. I think an EO can be saved, and I'm sure you guys believe a Protestant can be saved. And I think that's where I see where you guys are coming from. And
well, their church does, but the subgroup, the Ortho Bros, do not. That's where JP is maybe trying to get them to agree to something that they don't agree with.
I take the same position you guys take from me, and we drink a non-alcoholic beer and take it from there.
Well, I'm drinking my beer with alcohol in it, but I'm drinking an alcohol-filled beer because I rather enjoy. In fact, I'm going to have one right now. Woman, bring me an alcohol beer.
Yeah, but Yugi, what did you want to say, brother?
I got you. So, I just a clarifying question, just to make sure. Like, you would say that, Andrew, that I guess this new format would be more to like bridge a gap of understanding, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
It's to try to get to the heart of the truth claim itself.
Okay.
It's to try to refute Protestantism and get evangelicals to submit. And at the same time saying, if we align on political goals, then you should just align with us because we're wrecking your theology and we're going to do the proper argumentation, the proper debate style in order to go against the liberal agenda, which you agree with us anyways. So get out of the way and let us be the face of this and let us lead you to political victory. Just saying, if you haven't figured it out, Chad.
Okay. So then in that case, then I got no contention. Yeah. But in terms of like, but at least as far as I've seen, and hey, maybe things will change as, these debates happen.
Maybe.
As far as I'm understanding so far, the position is in a real sense, like we're not Christians. And so look, like, I'm okay with.
This is Andrew's opportunity to go, no, bro. What do you mean you're not Christians? There's nobody over here that believes that nonsense. No way. You guys are Christians. No, he doesn't say that. What does he say? Let's see.
Agreeing with you politically. Like, I don't think there's at least as far as I know, like we would agree with you 99% of the stuff you're saying when it comes to like the politics stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like we watch your clips all the time. Me and my wife, we have a blast. You know what I'm saying? It's awesome.
Bingo.
But when it comes to like the theological sense, there really is kind of a lot. You know what I'm trying to say? At least as far as I've seen. Maybe that'll change, Lord willing. But
Well, there's
yeah,
there's a definitive breakdown.
right.
There's no doubt that there is a definitive breakdown across the board between uh between these three. I mean, I don't even know if you could call it three ideologies. That's not even the right way to frame it. But I think you understand my meaning.
Yeah, I get what you're
here.
saying. Like,
So
look, we don't, what I'm saying is, I don't think we
yeah.
have to be, because right now we're being cordial, but like, I think we can like be just cut straight to the point. We don't have to dilly dally. We fundamentally, theologically look at each other very differently.
Yeah,
And that's the
100%.
part. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's the
Yeah.
part where I like,
But we
hey, maybe
but we do this with atheists all the time, right? Can we agree to that? Like I debate with atheists constantly, and I debate with secularists constantly.
Yeah, but atheists and secularists don't agree with you on the political level and the religious level. Different.
And their entire worldview is alien. Like your
Yeah, I get you.
worldview, I might think your worldview is wrong, but it's not alien.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the part where I think
No, you think it's from the pits of hell, bro. At least that's what some in your church believe.
there could be quote unquote some hand holding there, but like when it comes to the Protestant and EO divide, like you're gonna see. I mean, look, I'm not trying to speak for you, but maybe
yes,
people will
Punk Star, you're right. They're going to burn in hell. But my question is, do you believe that? Just saying.
see that, like, you know, it becomes a little. How do I say it? I think you're starting to see. I think I don't have the words to articulate it, but I think we agree. We're starting to see it's becoming a little unbeneficial to anyone at this point. When you've got people who quite literally deny God and think it's okay to kill kids, right? Versus you've got, and I think, thank God, I can actually speak to you like a human being here because a lot of EOs don't do this, dude. When I will try to level with them and say, look, you know, I've got people in my church getting baptized, freaking repenting from doing drugs, repenting of all their hedonism, and then they're gonna look at them and say they're not a Christian. You get what I mean? Like, at what point do we put the guns down, dude? Because you know, for on my side, we're standing on business here. We're standing on Christ. The other side is saying you're absolutely not. And to us, you guys don't sound like you guys sound like atheists to us.
What a W take by my man Yugi. W take. Yugi, if you're still in the chat, how far we go back, Yugi? How far we go back, Yugi? If you're still in the chat, somebody know Yugi's at? Huh? Somebody know where Yugi's at? Somebody ask him to pull up and tell me how far we go back. Huh? That's a W's in the chat for Yugi. See this? A man makes a perfect, crystallizes exactly what's happening. Pure through and through truth. This is a matter of fact. This person encapsulated, yes, our perspective, but also at the same time put in the proper perspective for Andrew that you can ask for peace after you come, shoot, beat people up, and then go, well, we just want to be peaceful. No, bro, you got to start being realistic about what it is that you're doing. Be honest with yourself, bro. I've known Yugi for a minute. We go back to the what's the guy's name? After Young Don, what was the other guy? The other YouTuber guy that's still trying to do YouTube, what's his name? Gideon. That's how my homeboy Bickle says Gideon. He can't just say Gideon. He says Gideon. I don't know why he does it. Apparently it's like a thing that he struggles with. Gideon. Somebody ask him to say Gideon when you're in the server and he's going to say Gideon. You can't just say Gideon. There he is. How far we go back, bro? Go way back. That's right. That's right. And this brother here has matured. In fact, we didn't agree when we initially had our conversations. We disagreed on some things. And Yugi came back, and I could see that the Lord was working in his life and his family's life. He has a young family. And clearly to me, we can have conversations. We don't agree on 100%. Nobody does. But I'd say 90% lockstep on every sort of idea. And we can attack the scriptures. There it is, Gideon. This is how he says it, Gideon. So my point is, Yugi speaking facts, but this is where it gets interesting. Check this out.
And vice versa, you know. So I think like we need to regain the plot. You know what I'm saying, Andrew?
Yeah,
Like,
there's
gotta,
a look there to these grievances. I agree with many of them.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
So, and let me explain or express the position here. Right.
Yeah.
The EO side, they're like, look, doesn't do you any good, or they'll say it does do them good to move away from the hedonism and the degeneracy. Right. Like you're never going to get any argument from me on that point. It's going to do them better to move away from that. But what their position is, moving them from one, one position which takes them far away from God to another position which from their view takes them far away from God, is still taking them away from God. That's the position.
I get you.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah,
But on the other hand,
yeah.
you have a great point here, and I'm going to give credit where credit's due, right? Is like Protestants are going to be the key to political success for what it is that the Eastern Orthodox and their agenda is.
Wait, what? Oh, no, he didn't. Did he just give away the plot, chat? Is he trying to say us as Protestants, we are a very, very special group of people?
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Is this what he's trying to say? I don't know, chat. I need to hear it again. Shall I rewind 15 seconds, chat? Let's try it one more time.
But on the other hand, you have a great point here, and I'm going to give credit where credit's due, right? It's like Protestants are going to be the key to political success for what it is that the Eastern Orthodox and their agenda is. And
ooh, the Eastern Orthodox and their agenda. But let's give a W take to one Andrew Doug Wilson. W take. Chat. Dubs. Come on. Give him the dub. Come on. Huh? As we say, we have the keys. We have the keys. Huh. Funny. Think we already knew that. W's in the chat. W take. He got it. All right. But now we've introduced this new agenda. The Eastern Orthodox agenda? Huh. I thought we were agreed politically on everything. I thought that we aligned on everything. And that what we were just trying to do is to get to the truth of our theological positions as we carry the primrose path all the way to success, death. I don't know. What are we talking about? I don't know. I'm confused now. We have different agendas? Wait a minute. What? I thought we had the one agenda. Politically, we agreed on a lot. He just said we agreed on almost everything. What's going on here? Well, Chad, I'm about to drop the link here for my brother from another mother who's about to pull up and give us a little bit of an insight as to what may be taking place next in, ironically, one of the most powerful Bible Belt places in the country, the South. So we're going to listen to a couple more minutes of this, and then my brother Jay is going to pull up to give you a preview on what he's been working on and what he has found out. And I'm going to tell you something. You might be shocked or you might not.
their agenda aligns a lot with the Protestant agenda politically when it comes to things like abortion, gay marriage, and various things like this.
But what are the differences, Andrew? What are the differences?
It's necessary that this bridge not be broken down and that there is some way for us to come to terms with some of this, because otherwise, if we're divided in the political sense, our enemies conquer us.
Yeah, like for example, let me say this. I was debating a Muslim, and to my surprise, there were EOs siding with the Muslim despite me. Now that's crazy, and
well, they don't see a huge Eastern Orthodox aren't going to see a huge distinction in the paradigm between they consider Muslims just another form of of Protestantism, essentially.
Yeah, you
So
see it. Like that's the
yeah.
part right there, man. It's just like,
Well,
you
look,
know.
here's the good.
Well, I don't know. Actually,
Well,
you
I
would
would.
probably use that to your advantage, though, right?
Well, hold on.
Because
Well, this is
they still despise Muslims.
hold on, but this is the hold on. This is the bright side. Think about this,
Yeah.
guys. Andrew Wilson just said that Protestants are viewed like an offshoot of Muslims. Well,
No, that's not what I said. I said
Well, that's
they're going
kinda
to
what
view
you said.
you in the same light, which
Okay.
would be that they're heretical and basically.
So we're compared to Muslims, chat. You feeling the unity? You guys feeling like teaming up with these guys? Woo! What do you think? You guys feeling the unity, chat? Please, chat. What are you feeling right now, chat? You feeling the unity? Are you feeling the love now, chat? Come on, chat. You're going to have to participate. Are you feeling the love? Are you feeling it? This whole unity thing. Politically, let's get together. Feeling so unified. I will never coexist. Don't be so negative, Jojo. There will never be unity. Stop it. You're being very, very, very negative. Mahler, the Mexican Muslim. That's right, Holmes. That's what he's calling me, Holmes, and it affected me. Like all day, I was calling people up and going, "Sas, I'm a Muslim now, eh?" That's what I thought. But then I started thinking about it. I said, let's see if he can clean this up.
A heretical sect, right?
Well, but Protestants are closer to the truth.
Correct.
Like,
Closer to the
Well,
truth.
I
what
wouldn't
was
really
gonna say
consider.
is- yeah, what I
Well,
was going
I wouldn't really consider
Yeah,
I
go
wouldn't
ahead.
really consider a Muslim to be a political ally, whereas like I would
Correct.
consider a traditional Protestant.
Oh, here comes the Jay Dyer Jr. to clean it up. Good job, buddy. Whoa. You went too far, Andrew. These old heads, man, they keep messing up. Here come the doomers. Like, hey, calm down, bro. We're trying to unite. What are you doing, bro? This is crazy. And what did I do? I moved it ahead. My fault, chat. Hold up.
Though, right?
Well, hold on.
Because
Well, this is
Like, one of them is mass migration, and I think that
All right, let me
political
back it up
ally,
here. Let me back it up here. So now he tells us there's a political ally. And Jay, give me a couple minutes here. Be patient, brother, because what we're about to see is that we now have the new Jay Dyer, which is going to talk about theology, but he's actually the new EO Nick Fuentes. So he's going to be introduced to roll out Christian nationalism's main issue. Now, even if I were to agree with this guy, this doomer, even if I were to agree that is a big main issue, immigration, just listen. And I want you to ask yourself how many people in the chat would actually still be an American if what this man wanted was true 100 years ago. Listen.
whereas like I would
Correct.
consider a traditional Protestant and a traditional Roman Catholic to be political allies. I've been saying this for a
100%.
long time. That like other Christians, Roman Catholic and High Church Protestants particularly, are political allies, not necessarily theological allies. And I think that we do have.
Oh, here he comes. Here comes the EO Nick Fuentes. Hold on though. He had to correct the boomer, right? The boomer Andrew Wilson, who is doing this to bridge the gap and bring unity. And what did he do? He stepped in it.
Have a lot. Like, for example, we need to deal right now with, we have a lot of problems in this country, and one of them is mass migration. And I think that Protestants and Roman Catholics are huge allies against that. Muslims are huge enemies.
Punk Star, not only are you out of touch, bro, you have no idea what you're talking about, bro. You don't. This is one of the kids who drank the EO Kool-Aid because he was walking around listening to the proper guidance. And then one day some guy came, told him and said, "It's a 1-2 church." And this kid just jumped on it because, he likes the little rhetoric and the clips. The doomers are the kids that can be convinced by TikTok videos. And then you pull up and you ask them one question and they're like, "What does it matter?" And you're like, "Bro, it totally matters." But you got to keep praying for Punk Star. Keep praying for him.
Right in that front.
Well, they're the beneficiaries.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They're having their families come in.
Yeah.
But that aside, I'm not trying to turn this into any more than I'd want them to turn it into a preach fest. I'm not going to turn it into my political preaching fest either. But you're right. I would agree. They're closer to the truth. But more importantly, right? Like I have kids that have to live in this new world, and I need to make sure that the majority of the country is Protestant, like it or not. And we
Yeah,
have
like
to have a coalition to some degree, at least politically,
Yeah.
or else we can't get anywhere.
I'll ask this again, chat. Do we need a coalition of must-have EOs, Catholics, and Protestants? I'm just gonna ask it. Do we need them in the coalition, chat? Go ahead, chat. Talk to me. Do we need them in the coalition? That's just an honest question. I think we've asked it in different ways. Is that a yes or a no? Now knowing what you know, is it a yes or a no? I love this answer the best. That's a nah. 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 They need us. It's my time, Holmes. That's exactly right. Vote biblically and we good. Easy. That's right. Well, I don't know about that. I've been hearing the R word associated to these EOs. I get it. Coalition with people who say I'm Muslim? No thanks, fam. Yugi's been on fire. All right, we're going to give 2 more minutes here, and then I might do a part 2 because there's some other stuff that we're going to deal with on this, but let's let this play a couple more minutes, and we're going to bring up our brother Jay, and he's going to give you another piece of the agenda in the States.
Yeah, like I'll add this one thing. About what you were saying earlier about how like, hey, like EOs want to bring Protestants closer to God through their church, but there is a fundament. That's where the dividing line really cuts sharp, because like at least for our side, I don't want to speak for all Protestants, but I'll speak for even the classical position, and I do believe this is JP's position and mine as well. Is that, hey, look, if someone says they become a EO, we say God bless, just hold firm to Christ, hold firm to the gospel, and that's all right. It's not reciprocated, you know what I mean? And that's where
correct. It's the same thing with Roman Catholics, honestly. They
exactly.
see us, we can go in and take communion with them tomorrow, and they'll allow it. We don't allow it the other direction. But
right there, there's going to always go ahead. I was going to say there's always going to be like a hard tension there, at least on our side. And
but let me ask you this, okay? So most of my friends and family are Protestants. Almost none of them are Eastern Orthodox. This is a Protestant country, and so like, how is it that I'm able to go out and have drinks with these guys? You know what I mean? Have the high trust levels with these guys, this kind of thing. No issues there whatsoever. No problem.
High trust. Chat. You trusting Andrew? You trusting him now?
Problems there whatsoever. Sometimes theology comes up, and we even, might even yell at each other about it and this kind of thing. But we're able to maintain these long-term friendships. It's like, you should be able to see that at the political level too. It should be fine for us to be able to fight our asses off about these issues, but still be dropping leftists like they're, like it's going out of style. So I think we can kind of have our cake and eat it too, in a way here.
Okay, so if we can have our cake and eat it too, then what's the point of the quote unquote, theological debates? If you mean cake, is you can still go around trying to, basically make Catholics look like dorks, Protestants look like dorks, and then you get, we all voting for the same thing, and I'll be the figurehead that leads this. Okay. That's exactly what we're talking about. We have to assess the person that's making these positions.
And Fearless, are you listening, Fearless? I wanted to say something to him real quick.
Now, JP, in this section, I think we've come to the point where we need to expand what this whole EO agenda is. And so I really, really want you to pay attention to what's going to happen now, which is a dear brother who I've met through all of this. Let me see if I have the proper layout. I don't think I've fixed this here. Let me see. Give me 1 second here as I adjust my screen. He's going to come and tell us about a regional agenda. So let me set here and let me see if I can't see my other positions here. What is this? Cover up. Let me see if I can bring this brother up in this particular light. No, I just got to go small screen. But without further ado, my brother from another mother and the same heavenly Father, and that is Jay. I knew I was gonna have to turn this. I gotta fix this. All right, there he is.
Hey
and
guys, what's up?
For the folks that are watching now, Jay, I told you to kind of, we were talking earlier and you've put me up on game on this. You've told me that there's a local agenda happening, meaning within the States in a certain region, that the EO agenda seems to be focused on. And you brought this to my attention some weeks ago. You sent me some videos on this. And so you're putting together something that I would like to maybe show, if the Lord wills, in the coming week or two. But I'd like for you to give the audience a breakdown of exactly what you see happening and what they're focused on, and kind of a summary, and then we'll dive into the details later.
All right, that sounds good to me. I'll just briefly introduce myself and then we'll get into it. So my name is Jay Livingston. My channel is JTV4 Evo, and I mainly do content about Nicene stuff and theology and everything else like that. And I was messing around online, and I did not really, I noticed these apologetics discussions back and forth, and I didn't start taking particular interest until Jay said bingo. And that's when things got a little bit hairy. And then all of a sudden, Andrew Wilson, who typically doesn't give a crap about stuff like this, all of a sudden he takes a break from his regularly scheduled entertainment to get involved with these theological discussions.
Right.
And anyway, to make a long story short, I realized, you know what? I know almost next to nothing about the history of Orthodoxy in the United States. So now's as good a time as any to, go at it and figure out, especially I'm in the beautiful state of Georgia.
Okay, the South. All right.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, how much is this really impact me and how much of it doesn't? As Mahler already said, yeah, Orthodoxy is not that big of a thing. They mainly like to congregate in rural America. Little known fact. What are they doing in rural America? Well, they're just talking to the local common folk and sharing their version of the good news. And I mean, I even had a friend who was like, yeah, man, I'm inquiring. And, I'm inquiring into Orthodoxy. Bro, you should really come, and it's going to be great. And I said, you do me a favor, man, go take things easy. I know you're going through the catechizing process or whatever. Take it easy, man. Look at the rudder, look at the manual, ask all your questions. And I said, you're going to need to start paying attention to the issues with the icons. And a couple weeks later, he came back and he's like, you know what? It really didn't sit well with me when I heard about them go into detail about those icons. But I digress. It's a little bit of the story of my background and interaction here with Orthodoxy in the South. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pull up my slideshow presentation.
Oh, okay. You wanna share that, or maybe just
reading
it out to us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to show?
No, I mean, if you just want, just go over the points now, and then you could save the presentation if we get
all right. Okay.
The details.
So basically, what I'm working on right now is just a snapshot. I'm going to give you all just a brief snapshot. And then maybe like 2 weeks from now or whatever, we'll go and I'll try to find a way. I'll send you the PDF.
Yeah, shoot it to me.
I'll send you the PDF. You can have a look at it. But basically, guys, before we begin, I really want to stress that there is, and I think you guys are starting to tap into things. You're hearing this. What is it, Luigi or whatever? I call him Luigi because that's what he went by before, right? Is that?
Yeah, I think so. Orthodox Luigi, I think it is.
Yeah. So you guys are starting to notice. Oh, wait a second. There's even some disagreements between Luigi and Wilson. I thought they're both Orthodox. What the duck's going on? And then you got Jay Dyer. And then you got all these other guys. What is going on? And these priests are saying one thing, Jay Dyer's saying another. Wilson is completely way off in left field, saying like, oh yeah, this and that and something else. And it's just like, bro, what is Eastern Orthodoxy? So
Right.
we're going to briefly hit on that. Just briefly, I'm just going to run through this,
Yeah,
and
of course.
I want to talk about this. I want to post the link into the StreamYard, and then maybe you can share your screen, and then we can talk about it just a little bit.
Well, if you want to share your screen, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want.
I think I'm having issues with trying to share my screen real quick. Oh no, there it is. Okay.
All right.
Do you see it?
Yep. Let me go ahead and add the stage. All right.
Okay, so guys, let me introduce you to the Ludwell Orthodox Fellowship. Okay, this is a organization that started in around 2005. This is, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. Now, the reason I found out about this was actually from the algorithm. I'm not on X or anything else. The algorithm recommended, and let me show you what the algorithm. Oh, look at that. You look at that. So the algorithm recommended this Virginia conference. Okay, so I'm over here minding my own business. I click on it. Okay, and who do I see way off here in the left-hand side?
Oh, well, you look at that. Is that one, the only, well, the retired Jay Dyer?
Right there on the far left-hand side. And I'm sitting here, and I still remember, I'm getting these clips of Jay Dyer talking about like the CIA getting involved in doing horrible stuff and experiments. And where is it? Where is it located?
Oh, look at that. It's is that Virginia?
Virginia Conference. Now, didn't you say something earlier? Now, maybe this is a different conference that Fearless Truth and Luigi are at. But I got a funny feeling that, you know what? Maybe these guys are located. I don't know. Maybe they traveled to Virginia going on vacation. I mean, you never know, So anyway, these guys are having a panel discussion about orthodoxy, the state of orthodoxy in the United States. I'm sure, Mahler, there's plenty of content there. You could actually clip from that. One of them actually covered, I could not believe this, these older gentlemen, this guy in particular, said that it was perfectly fine for Orthodox guys to convert Protestant women. And he even said that his son married outside of Orthodoxy, and then by the end of the year, she converted to Orthodoxy.
Great advice to begin a marriage.
Yeah. I was use the Muslim strategy.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
Muslims do
crazy.
that, right?
Yeah.
But okay, so this is really what I want to focus on. This right here is the nuts.
Okay.
Jacobite Appalachians,
Okay.
Orthodox kingship.
Oh my goodness.
And
now we're starting to see the
mission-
regional play. Go ahead.
And the mission to America. And here we have an Orthodox father. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know if my
Yeah,
mouse
I think you
glitched.
right click and highlight it. Yeah, you just click off of it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm having issues with it. Okay. Father Sewer's speech at the 3rd annual Philip Ludwell III Orthodox Fellowship Conference on September 6, 2025 in Stafford, Virginia. Now, this was almost a year ago. Interesting.
All right.
And so anyway, he's giving his talk, and I'm actually, you know what? Since you can see my screen, we can actually
play that.
Yeah.
Let's listen.
So guys, this is just a snapshot. This is a sneak peek of things to come. So genuine orthodoxy versus Dixie Doxy.
Oh, Dixie Doxy.
Now I remember
we're coining that one. Take that one. Put that on t-shirts, brother.
I just remembered, like, Jay Dyer was making all kinds of jokes about Cholo Church and everything else like
Cholo Doxy coming? Cholo Doxy?
Okay.
Maybe. All right.
Okay, so this Dixie Doxy stuff, Southern Protestant analysis, my analysis, I go over and I talk about the basic history, but let's actually go over history of genuine orthodoxy. Now, again, this stuff is more than likely subject to change. I will get more new information, and maybe some of this will change, but for now, this is what we have. St. Herman walks all the way from Siberia to Alaska. Okay, he lived a life of poverty and holiness, defended the Aleuts, which is a native tribe, from colonial abuses, because there was a Russian-American company that was making everybody's life a living hell, and he basically came along and improved their quality of life. Or so the story goes. Saint Tikhon, this is a very big guy, very important guy. He traveled from Alaska to Pennsylvania, advocated for the English liturgy, multi-ethnic American orthodoxy, opposed nationalism. Now listen to this. This is very important. Opposed nationalism, opposed state control of the church, and he opposed political orthodoxy.
Huh.
Oh, what? What? He opposed political orthodoxy. Do you guys know about Saint Tikhon? Saint Tikhon, before he died, he actually, I think it was like Ukaz 343 or something like that. He did a special command where he authorized the bishops, because of emergency situations, they could lay their hands and ordain bishops without the approval of the patriarchate, because he saw the Bolshevik Revolution was on the horizon.
Okay.
So again, key word here. You remember that conversation that you had with the true Orthodox dudes, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So this is what they were talking in emergency situations. This was set up, and Tikhon set it up right before he died. Okay. Now, this is what I call quote unquote genuine orthodoxy. Okay. And we can see the heritage, and we can see, you know, that they lived those lives, a decent life and everything else like that, or semi-decent. Most of them typically lived a life of poverty and humility and everything else like that, and fasted. Dixie Doxy, good stuff. Born Identity. Okay. You guys remember the clip, right? From Born Identity, where he got a memory replaced and everything else like that. Okay. So Dixie Doxy, what is it? A Tsarist Confederate rewrite of orthodoxy, an identity swap where plantation myth quietly replaces the Desert Fathers and the cross gets lost in paperwork. Whoa. And you guys can quote me on this. Okay.
Now, who is it? Who is this that is, what are you reading right now? Is this somebody who's assessing it? Is this their internal memos? What is this?
This is my definition of this thing.
Right.
This thing that I'm trying to define here.
Right.
So
and in your examination, you've been on this for a few weeks now. And what you're saying is ultimately that last line where you're saying is this is the rewrite, the revisionist history, but being introduced in a more palatable way to a region of Southern Americans, or this region of the South, who they know they have to present something that's more palatable to, dare I say, the real Americans.
Oh yeah.
You know who they are. Oh yeah. Well, if this is the case, why is it that you said the one thing though, Jay? You said that they bury, or they sort of hide the cross. So what is that? Say that again.
So the cross gets lost in paperwork. You remember the scene, right? Where the guy goes and he discovers the gun and then the paperwork and everything else like that. He lives his life and he thinks that it's his life, but he realizes that he has a memory swap. And what's happening here? What is the parallel between Born Identity and Dixie Doxy? Dixie Doxy's primary mission, and you can actually go and look at the Ludwell III Fellowship mission statement. They say it's basically to do exactly what you said, Mahler. It's to make a Southern version of orthodoxy.
Okay.
And that this definition, it's a workable definition. And for those of you who don't know, Tsarist, a Tsar is from the king, the Imperial Russian period, the glory days of Russia when they were run by a king and everything was great and wonderful and the church was really rich. Oh, wait a second. I'm not supposed to tell you the church used to be rich. But anyway, this is a longing to return to the good old days when the monarchy was the king. Okay. Now, obviously, we all know that, you know, that life was not that great and wonderful under the king, but anyway,
of course.
Dixie Dox aesthetics.
Yeah.
So then, go ahead.
I was going to ask you then, Jay. So then you're putting together a presentation to something that maybe folks want to go to your channel as well, even if I preview it on my side. But is this something you're going to be doing on your channel and going into in the next couple of weeks as well?
I'm thinking about, I'm playing around with the idea of, do I want to do a video series on this?
Okay.
I did I have a concept that I'm working with right now. Jay Dyer actually destroys the Dixie Dogs.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. Now,
Anyways,
real quick, before I cut you off, and we got to run here because we're past time. But let me ask you this then, Jay. So then, if you're putting something together, of course, everybody goes sub to Jay's channel. What's your the channel? If you want to drop it in the chat as well, do so before
Sure.
you're done here.
Absolutely.
But Jay, let me ask you.
Go ahead.
Does it feel then like that there is somebody above this area pulling the strings over what's happening?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to be breezing right through this, Mahler, like lickety split. I'll probably take 2 more minutes and
all
that's
right, go
it.
for it. Yeah, go for it.
So this is Dixie Docs Aesthetics. You guys are going to find that in the Jacobite clip that I showed you in the Ludwell Fellowship YouTube channel. The continued popularity of Tolkien's fantasy includes a hidden and lost meaning that orthodoxy can fill. Quoted from the lecture Jacobite Appalachians Orthodox Kingship and the Mission to America, courtesy our Honorable Father Paul Sewers. So Dixie Docs is regional. It's not Catholic. It's not universal. Okay. So how can it be the true church? The exiled Russian church kept in its culture monarchism, anti-Jacobinism, and strange love for a homeland that no longer exists. Again, the same lecture. Wow. So Dixie Doxy is civilizational. It's not Christocentric. Where's Jesus? It's civilizational. We're going to affect civilizational change. In Old Slavonic, sobornost had the deeper meaning of solidarity energized by God's uncreated grace. Now, I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I was going to say
anyway,
that's a lot. That's
but it's political.
Mm-hmm.
It's not ascetic. It's not about fasting and praying and theosis. It's political.
Right.
Genuine orthodoxy versus Dixie Doxy. Point of view, they preach monarchy like it's gospel for 25 minutes, then hit you with, it's just typology, king. Timestamp at 2510.
Wow.
So it's nostalgic. It's not historical.
Wow. So you're saying is they're introducing a little bit of a flavor of the monarchy government style, and maybe we can have sort of this in between. The Eastern Orthodox can get involved and really lead this vision of the glory days of Russia, or the idea where this was all beautiful. And maybe we can create a utopia here, an Eastern Orthodox utopia here in the States.
Yeah, that's exactly 100%. You caught the vision, Mahler.
Already? Well, that's because you did a great job on it.
But guess what? History of the Ludwell Fellowship. Named after Philip Ludwell III, the first Orthodox convert. Now, there's a reason why Ludwell Fellowship and there's a ring there, obviously. I think you figured it out with Tolkien and, Return of the King and Fellowship of the Ring. And anyway, you get it. So Philip Ludwell III, first Orthodox American convert, by the way.
Oh.
It's this guy with the big ring that all the gentry...
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see. I'm not showing that part of the screen. This guy right here. Him.
This guy right here with the ring. Yeah. All the gentry, all the high society aristocrats, they're all, oh my God, look at him. He's so rich and powerful. He's a Virginia aristocrat. Do you see that right there?
Yeah, I see
Virginia aristocrat. Very interesting historical figure. Of course, I'm not going to go into detail. I figure you guys are going to be curious.
Yeah, some people are going to dig on their own.
Who is this guy? Obviously, he's not a model for American orthodoxy.
Do you think that this they're going to be successful with this? I mean, what do you think that this is really tied to the success of Eastern Orthodoxy becoming something that's a little bit more competitive in terms of Catholicism and Protestantism? In other words, this whole vision can only move if more people start becoming convinced that Orthodoxy is the truth and Catholicism are a bunch of papist rats and Protestants are scum.
Well,
right?
they have to convert you first. And what they will do is I've given you the essential nuts and bolts. If you go ask, and this is why I said, JP, ask Andrew what his stance is on the monarchy, because these guys are pro-monarchists. They want to bring the monarchy back. Therefore, the Orthodox vision of J.R. Tolkien. Okay, that's what they want. in America. That's what they're working for. And that's why they are trying so desperately hard to convince you, oh, you need us, just as much as we need you, and all this stuff.
Yeah, and then of course it's like, bro, you can go to a monarchy already if you won't take a trip across the pond. So Jay, to finish up here and to wrap,
yes,
what would you say that people outside of that YouTube channel start to look into a couple topics? Because you're going to have some folks that are really smart like you who love history, because you're really, really a history buff. When I've spoken to you, especially when we talked about the different parts of the world, what would you say a couple things that you would give them a tip as they look into it, as you build your sort of case or your investigation, whatever that may lead you to? What would be a couple things you would tell them to look up, either names or topics?
Okay, topics. Topics are very important, guys. You guys need to know the history of Imperial Russia. That's the first thing. The second thing you guys need to cover is the history of Orthodoxy in Imperial Russia. The third topic you're going to want to look at is the Reds and the Whites. This is in reference to the White Army and the Red Army. Okay. The White Army supported the monarchy, the king. They fought to defend God and the king. But because the Red Army kicked them out of the country, they migrated. And some of them are still alive today in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, brother, this is interesting, fascinating. I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, drop the channel, go sub to Jay's channel, and hopefully we have some things to come wherever this goes. May the Lord lead you and guide you, brother. And I appreciate you coming on today.
I'm glad to be here. I'll drop the link in the YouTube channel chat.
You got it. All right. There he goes, everybody. I'll see you in the Discord, my brother. There he goes, my brother from another mother. All right, chat. I really got to fix this screen thing. I don't know what this is. I'm going to delete this. You know what? Let me fix this. Can I fix this now? Because this is really, 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 really annoying. Can I let me try to share this tab here to see if this fixes it. Let me see. Yeah, this kind of fixed it. It brought me back. I don't know why that is, chat. It's kind of crazy. Anyways, all right. So there we go. So let me get out of share screen. So chat, listen. I want to say that in all of this, I understand, some folks say that we want to build a coalition. And if we're really going to do that, we have to be honest with ourselves as to what this means. So to build a coalition, we have to have common grounds and understanding. But I don't think that we can move forward as long as people are not being honest about their church. And I think that that's what needs to be examined. So for instance, you have people like Punkstar here who doesn't know anything from anything. So you guys have to pray for this kid. He thinks he knows stuff because he watched Jay Dyer videos. And so he's speaking and has no idea what he's talking about. If you were to ask him a couple questions, he wouldn't know. And this is a lot of what's happening on the internet. They give you this canned view, this as the pamphlet, you know what I mean? As I say, the JW pamphlet of what it actually is. But if you go watch my live, you'll figure out that's just a couple of items that you can't reconcile. That there's differences of opinion. Or as you guys already know, there's a real famous song that we have going on, and they can just drop it all underneath one particular belief and one doctrine. We know what it is, right, chat? Just think about that. It's economia, bro. All right, chat. Here's what we're gonna do. Since I ran over time, we're gonna be pulling up in the Discord right now because apparently somebody wants to have a debate. So that might be popping off. And what we're gonna do too, as well, is if you're okay with it, I don't know if we're gonna open up today because, like I said, I ran over time. My intention was to do this in 2 hours, but we got it. So let me think about this for a minute in terms of whether we're going to go live on Saturday or Sunday. EO is a Trump economia is tanking. Yep. The Trump's economia is tanking. That's facts. That's facts. Look out for a new promotional commercial from Jay Dyer himself on the new brand Economia. Remember, he did this to himself. I did it. He did it. But luckily for us, he's going to retire and he's going to, you know how they have the Streamer University? Isn't it Kai Cenat that wants to have Streamer University? Well, apparently, and I'm announcing it here first, totally joking, by the way, Ruslan is having his Interviewer University. And Jay has submitted his video, apparently, allegedly. You get it. He wants to be the next Ruslan. That's crazy, bro. This dude Ruslan was catching bullets, fire shots, because it's like, oh, he's a grifter. And now apparently he's interviewing people like Kat Von D. Yeah, what's going on, Kat Von D? I figured she to become a Christian, she kind of let go of the Elvira look. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is, you know. Old habits die hard, but, you know, God bless those that come to the Lord and submit to him. So here's what I'm going to say. Moving forward, we're going to move in the proper direction at the pace that we want to. And I'm speaking to evangelicals and Catholics, that we're going to be allowed to not fall for the nonsense or be rushed through the examination of evidence. And this is so important. Why? Because they need us. You now have the secrets, and I'm sure there's more coming. As I've been told by a person who is in the know, was in some of the rooms where they planned to go ahead and make Protestant apologetics a thing of the past, that of their mouths. And they were going to build this coalition where these people are the faces. Wilson, Jay Dyer Jr., what's his name, Luigi? Okay? But as we've examined today, it seems like we put together, because we're smart, we're not all dumb Mexicans, we put together that we are holding the cards. So I'd like to think about, how I want the debate format to go. Oh yeah, 1 for 1, no moderators, no PDF. You want to examine my faith? That's okay, but you're gonna have to answer my questions. Uh-oh. Looks like somebody's in the driver's seat. So you guys can fantasize and spitball all you want about a format of fantasy sort of gauntlet that you want, but in the end, remember, we're building our own coalition. In fact, it exists right now. It's the most powerful coalition in the world, because evangelicals are responsible for putting people in power and literally removing people. And right now, if MAGA or if Trump doesn't repent, he's next, but he's on his way out because MAGA is dead. MACA is up next. Make America Christian again, because that's what we need. We need the Lord Jesus Christ. Remember what I told you. We're in some dark times, and there's people at the helm that we shouldn't trust with anything. But unfortunately, we bought the nonsense. We fell for it. So I hope you guys don't lose heart, because we're still Christians and our faith is in the Lord Jesus Christ. And if you are listening to this and you haven't placed your faith in the Lord, then I tell you to repent and turn to him today and receive salvation. Get baptized. Join the proper church that fits your avenue, not what somebody else paints and creates for you. Know that. This is important in this whole conversation, because it doesn't look like things are going to get better. They might get worse. But as you know, it doesn't matter what tomorrow brings, because you know you and I will serve the King.
The Truth Cartel, trafficking truth to the world.